I started up this hardcore Minecraft world roughly 9 months ago, and I fully expected to last maybe a couple hundred days. But look at me now, look at your boy waking up on day 1000. To celebrate this occasion, I have the 1000 day movie. This is going to be from day 500 to day 1000. If you want to see the first 500 days in a long form movie format, I will leave a link to that video in the description down below. I didn't want to combine it with this one because then the video would be like, what, 9-10 hours long, and that seems a little bit excessive. I will also be providing a world download link in the description down below if you would like to hop into this world yourself and check out all of the builds I've done and see everything that I have not yet completed, because there's a lot. I don't do many interiors, I gotta be honest. I think the next 1000 days in this world, whenever I build something, I'm gonna make sure I completely finish it, and that does include the interior, alright? I gotta start getting better. And if you've never downloaded a Minecraft world before and you would like to try to download mine, I will also be providing another link in the description that'll walk you through how to download a Minecraft world and where to put the files to actually play it. Whether you're watching this video to help fall asleep, maybe just as some background noise if you're trying to study or get some work done, or if you just like watching long-form content, I hope this video is enjoyable for you. Thank you so much for watching. Let's start the movie. Now, last episode, we built this massive tree. Wow. In the overworld to hide the Nether portal. And today we're still going to be focused on the Nether portal, but this time the one in the Nether. Today we will be building a massive Nether hub on the Nether roof. I'm thinking we make some kind of like spooky mansion looking thing. I feel like I could probably come up with some interesting design. I really want to use a lot of Nether blocks in this build, obviously, since this is a build in the Nether, and I'm not too experienced using those blocks. I normally don't use many Nether blocks. Of course, though, that's going to be at the end of the episode. So let's talk about what we're gonna do to start this episode. Now, there are two things I would like to get done before I start building the Nether hub. The first thing is I want to get a beacon. It might take a while because wither skeleton skulls are fairly rare, even with looting 3, but I definitely want to just tackle that in the beginning of this video. I actually don't even know if I have enough blocks to make like a full beacon, but still, getting any kind of a beacon will help a lot with gathering materials. The second thing I would like to do is I want to build an iron farm, probably the same one we have in the castle up here. I want to build that in the spawn chunks, so it's always running. I've been running out of iron in this world because, you know, the one I built up in the castle here is not activated when I'm working in the area. I thought it would be, it just isn't. So I had to AFK this for a little bit, and I have, I want to say like 5 stacks of iron now. Actually, it's like 6.5 stacks of iron. Really not that much. So if we build, you know, that same iron farm in the spawn chunks, should make my life a lot easier, you know, when it comes to making lanterns and hoppers and stuff like that. Those are the two other main goals I have for this episode. Of course, the third one being the Nether hub. There might be some other random miscellaneous stuff we do throughout this episode, but let's get started with the first goal, which involves me heading to the Nether. Also, last episode, we moved the Nether spawn on top of the Nether roof already, and I don't really want to go break any bedrock right now, so I'm just gonna go make a new portal somewhere else that will take me just to a random spot in the Nether. Don't tell me I'm out of obsidian. I will not believe you, please. Your boy is definitely out of obsidian. Well, that sucks. I have to go back to the end, but I guess I can show off something else I did between episodes. So I made a couple more Nether portals on the Nether roof. One of them hooks up to spawn, and one of them hooks up to the end. They're actually very close to each other, too. I don't remember which one this one is, but there's one over there, and this is the one I just came out of, so they're all very close to each other. Alright, so I set up another portal here in the village. This should be far enough away, so it'll, you know, generate a new Nether portal in the Nether, and we will no longer be on the Nether roof. That was incredibly convenient, that just actually spawned me in a fortress. That's hilarious. I'm assuming, though, that this is the fortress I've been to, and I kind of want to go to a different one. I want to find a fortress in a Soul Sand Valley. I'm going to fly around a little bit here in the Nether, then, and let's see if we can find a Soul Sand Valley. I also kind of want to find a bastion to raid a little bit. I don't want to look too much in one because I feel like even with netherite armor, those brutes are terrifying. But I do want to find Pig Step, like, pretty badly. That's like the best music disc, man. It's so good. There's this bastion over here that I found a while ago. I think I'm just going to kind of peek my head in real fast and see if I can grab a couple chests. No Pig Step, but I did find a lodestone. Not gonna lie, I don't know what that does, but that's cool. This is what the speedrunners do, right? They just mine around because they know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna mine right into a chest. Just wait for it. Right here. Bam. Wow. That worked. Alright, yeah, let's go. I had no idea that would actually be here. That was insane. Maybe I should speedrun Minecraft. I'm already a genius. I probably missed like 1,000 chests in this bastion, but I'm just gonna head out. I don't really know what I'm looking for, how to loot those things. So we're just gonna head over here, which is actually exactly where I want to be. Game, stop skipping, please. But this is exactly where I want to be, in a soul sand valley with a nether fortress. This is perfect. Oh yeah, those guys are all mine over there. All right, it's time to start the hunt. Here we go. First try. First try. First try. First try. First try. First try. Let's go. Definitely called that. All right, time to get the rest. I got another one. Wow. Okay, that was super lucky. Let's go. I got the third one. Those last two came so much faster than that first one, and I'm not sure why, but I'm not complaining. Let's just head down to the mines then and actually fight this wither. I'm gonna do this a pretty safe way because I don't trust myself to fight it in the overworld. I feel like that is a very easy way for me just to completely lose this world. And, you know, I'm not trying to do that right now. All right, here we go. Let's fight this bad boy. Let's kill him with my fist. I accidentally switched to my sword. I didn't mean to do that. I had that fully under control with my fist. But whatever, we got the nether star and also some diamonds. I mean, cool, I guess. So we finally have a beacon now, which is huge. So I will definitely take that. The first goal of this episode is completed. Now, next up here in the video, I want to work on the iron farm at spawn. That guy is a liar. Hi, it's Editor Shram. Nice to meet you. But I did end up making an iron farm. It sucked really, really badly, though. I don't know what I did wrong, if I built the farm incorrectly, or if I just have to spawn proof a lot more. I have no idea. But this iron farm was terrible. So I don't want to waste your time with a section of the video dedicated to something that is, like, essentially broken. I will fix this in the next episode. I don't think I'm gonna actually like tweak the iron farm and make it better. I can probably just get away with going down into the mines and actually just physically mining the rest of the iron that I need because I don't really need that many more blocks. And if I can find one big, like massive iron vein underground, that'll be more than enough. So I'm just gonna move on to the nether hub and that section of the video now. Now my plan for the nether hub is to make like a really big, spooky, kind of haunted mansion sort of thing. That's kind of the vibe I want to go for. And to do that, I want to mainly use a bunch of like black blocks for the walls. And since this is going to be in the nether, we might as well use some nether blocks. And this is actually not where I want to be. I mean, I want to be in the nether, just not on the roof. So let me fly over to the village where I built that other portal earlier. And we're going to go collect up a whole bunch of like basalt. We'll grab a bunch of black stone. And then for like the roof of this place, I want to make it out of like crimson wood. We're going to have like stripped crimson wood as well. And probably some purple terracotta. I really like what that looks like with the other two blocks. But we are in the nether now. So I'm going to go collect up a whole bunch of basalt, which I really don't want to do. This is actually like a little dangerous. A lot of lava beneath me, and I don't have any potions. But I think as long as I'm careful, I'll be okay. Then after this, we'll collect up a whole butt ton of that stuff right there, that black stone. We got one entire shulker of basalt. That'll be nice to have. Now let's fill up another one with blackstone. Alright, another shulker box filled, this time with blackstone. Now, let's go grab a whole bunch of crimson wood. I'm not going to fill up an entire shulker with it. I'm going to just go grab a whole bunch of this. I'll probably fill up like a little bit more than a third of a shulker with this stuff. I'm actually going to do this in a very different way. I only got about 2 stacks of the crimson stem. But I'm going to bring a bunch of this stuff, the crimson fungus, to the overworld and just grow it there. Man, so I know I said I was going to get like a third of a shulker of this stuff. But oh my god, this stuff is so annoying to harvest. It reminds me so much of mangrove wood. So I'm not going to do that right now. We might come back to that in a little while. Instead, I'm going to go to the mesa biome, which I completely forgot where it is. Probably off in this direction somewhere. And I'm going to go grab a bunch of terracotta. So this is actually the first beacon I have ever made. I've never used a beacon before. Which might be a really weird thing to say, but straight up, I've just never done this. But let's go ahead. I think this is how you do it. It looks like it's haste too. Yeah, I'll do that, and then we can now hopefully insta-mine this stuff. Oh, it's not insta-mine. Do I have an efficiency 5 on this? I only have efficiency 4. Hang on. Maybe if it's efficiency 5? Oh, there we go. So much better. So now let's just gather up a ton of this terracotta. I'm going to fill an entire shulker with this probably because it's very easy to get. Yeah, well, that took all of like 5 minutes. These beacon things are pretty cool. I don't know if you guys knew that, but big advocate for beacons now after that. That saved me a ton of time. We still need to gather up a few more things, and I'm actually kind of running out of shulker boxes, which is sort of funny. But I want, like, white blocks to use in this build, too. I was thinking, like, calcite, maybe diorite, maybe some other third block in there that I'm not thinking of right now. But I think that would look really good. Yeah, this video is kind of all over the place, isn't it? It's just the wacky stuff you get over here on this channel. No, I don't end up using any of the white blocks, alright? I don't think it looks good once I start throwing them down. But I do need to find a geode to get the smooth basalt. That is something I do end up using. So, I do right here go end up finding a geode. We gather a whole bunch of smooth basalt. And then we're vibey, we're chilling. Okay, so I am running out of shulker boxes. So, I want to go and just grab a whole bunch of dark oak wood. And then I think I'm going to start planning out the build. Even though we probably won't have enough materials. I have like one more empty shulker here, which I can fill with dark oak wood. So let me just go find a nice big dark oak forest. And then I'll just go shopping. I filled up maybe about half of this shulker box with dark oak wood. I also stripped it all because I'm going to need that for the build. And I'm getting a little impatient, honestly. I'm kind of tired of just collecting materials. So I'm going to head to the Nether, and we are going to start building. Completely scratched that. I just forgot something. I need purple dye. Ah, dude, it's just so many materials for this build, man. I need to get purple dye because I need to make all the terracotta I harvested purple. Now, what's the best way to get purple dye? You want to sell me any, my man? Brown dye, lime dye. If only you had purple. No idea what just happened to that guy. He said he had to go. I don't know. Where did these come from? Who knows? But, yeah, okay. Anyway, let me clear out my inventory again for, like, the 8th time in this video. And then, I'll figure out the best way to get purple dye. I think my best bet right now is to combine red and blue dye to get purple dye. So I'm going to take all of this lapis I have and just make it into dye. I don't really need much lapis anymore. I'm not going to really be doing much enchanting in the near future. And I do have a bunch of poppies that can be made into red dye. So let's make as much purple dye as we can. We have like 2.5 stacks of purple dye. How much terracotta will this get me? Actually, quite a bit of terracotta here. This might be enough for a very solid start on this. I was able to make a lot of this into the purple terracotta, not all of it, but I can always convert the rest later if I need it. All right, so this will be my home base for the next bunch of hours. Now, I found this picture on the internet. Kind of just looked up spooky mansion. And I really like the vibe of this mansion. And this is kind of the idea that I want to go with. So we're going to be taking some inspiration from this picture here. And I'll begin here by just laying out some blackstone, I suppose, just to get the dimensions down. We have ourselves a layout of how big this is going to be. And it looks kind of weird from up here. But this is the size of this build. Alright, it's going to be pretty big. It should be perfectly symmetrical now. Don't know if it's going to stay that way. Also, these magmas could actually become an issue. Might have to spawn-proof everything here. Maybe we'll just put like a bunch of carpet down or something. I don't know. But yeah, it might not stay perfectly symmetrical. Might make it a little bit wonky to add to the effect. I don't really know just yet. But this is definitely at least the size of this building. We're going to have a lot of room on the inside. I do think, though, that we are ready to construct this thing. At least a lot of it. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done with the blocks I have. But I'll do as much as I can. And I'll be back after a while. This is definitely going to take me some time. Alright, so I'm back right now because I do need to go collect some more stuff. And I haven't really done anything with the walls, but I put on the peaks of the roof, and I'm kind of liking what this layout looks like right now. When it was just the dark oak and stuff, I wasn't super sure about this. I thought I'd have to like rebuild the whole thing because I didn't really know if I liked the shape. I didn't know if this thing was going to look good in the end. But I think with like the roof put on, or at least like part of the roof put on, I'm a lot more comfortable with where I'm at. But we do need to go grab some more deep slate. I've completely run out of the deep slate stairs. So I'll probably go fill up like a shulker with deep slate just so I for sure have enough for the rest of this build. Alright, I got an entire shulker box now of deep slate. Of course, this is going to be made into the deep slate bricks. I'm also going to grab all the spruce wood I have, which is actually quite a bit. I have a bunch of leftover spruce wood, and I don't exactly remember why. Maybe I was just harvesting my trees at some point. But I'm going to grab all of that, probably heal up my pickaxes, and then we should be good to start building again. Alright, so we got a good bit of progress done on this mansion. but I'm out of a lot of blocks that I actually now have to go back and collect more of. One of those blocks is purple terracotta. Now I have a little bit more terracotta left in a shulker box down here, but it's just regular undyed terracotta. Okay, well that kind of hurt. But it's regular undyed terracotta. It's this, okay. I don't think this is going to be enough to finish off the rest of the roof here, but at least we don't have to gather an entire shulker. It's really not hard to gather terracotta though. It is insta-mined with a beacon. But I'm definitely at the point with this build where I'm having a lot of trouble imagining this looking good. I don't know if it's too big. It's just too much of a mess right now. It's really hard for me to imagine kind of what it's going to look like when it's completely done. But one bright spot is I really like what the roof looks like. I really like the colors. I think this color combination is like perfect for what I'm going for. The deep slate trim is also super nice. I think it accents it very well. But we have a ton more work to do still. Is that a ghast? That is most certainly a ghast. All right, hang on a second. Don't destroy my house. Don't do it. Don't destroy it. Hang on. Get out of here. Okay, what is the hitbox in these things, man? Stop destroying the house. All right, we had some damage. It's not a huge deal though. I can fix that. We also need a lot more dark oak wood because I'm completely out of that as well, and I need more to section off the build still. Now I'm sure you guys are just absolutely thrilled to watch me gather more materials again. But yeah, I gathered some more terracotta to make it purple terracotta for the roof. After that, then I gathered the second best wood in the game in some dark oak wood, following that up with the best wood in the game, spruce wood, where I'm stripping it as I go. It'll just make it a lot easier to build with later. And those are all the materials I wanted to gather right now. I was going to gather some crimson wood, or crimson stem, whatever you want to call it, but I was just a little tired of gathering up materials. Now let's cut it back to the Shram in the video, where he's going to say almost exactly what I just said. Alright, so I'm actually a little tired of gathering materials, so I did not get any crimson wood. Instead, what we're going to do is kind of just work on the walls. I need the crimson wood for the roof, and we'll work on that later. But let's see if we can get these walls mostly up. I really hope I have enough materials to get this done. If I don't, then I'll just have to go get some more, which I really don't want to do, but let's see what happens. Alright, so I've made quite a bit of progress, but I have run out of blackstone. I don't want to collect more, but I have to. I grossly underestimated how many blocks this was going to take. But we have a good portion of the walls in. Also some random spruce there that doesn't actually have to be there. Whatever, not a huge deal. But I kind of just need to finish off like this side right here that I'm looking at, and like the peaks of a few of the rooftops. And for that, we need more blackstone. So let's go collect a whole bunch more. I mean, I have a little bit left. I guess I didn't completely run out, but that's definitely not enough to finish off everything else. So back to the Nether I went, and I gathered up a whole bunch more blackstone. And also, while I was here, I gathered up all the crimson stem I was going to need to finish off the roof. I have finished the structure as of now, right? There's a whole lot more work we still have to do detailing this thing, but at least it is like a full building right now. There are some small gaps. Like as you can see right there, that is on like every side of the building. I think I want to make that like a balcony of some sort. I just haven't really decided what kind of floor block I want to use yet. That's why I've left it blank. And I also just realized I missed something on the roof over here. All right, I think we're good now. I think I fixed it. So for the rest of the episode here, we're just going to be detailing the outside of the build. I'm not going to do the interior in this one. I really just want to get this video out. I feel like it's been a very long time since I've uploaded because I've been working on this for so long. But let's start doing the exterior. So let's try to come up with a window design. I do have to remember that the floor on the inside is going to be on that level, because I'm not removing all of the bedrock inside and replacing it with a floor block. That is just not happening. So the floor is going to be on this level. So the window has to at least start here, probably. Maybe I'll go a little bit higher. Or maybe I won't. Maybe we'll just make some really tall windows here. That could probably work pretty well. That's a pretty good size, just based on the scale of this build. And let's see what kind of window design I want to go for. Now, I have a bunch of deep slate brick blocks because I think I want to use that for like the trim of the window here. Throw some stairs over there like that. That's a good start. Let's go. We're on to something here. Let's build up here a little bit. Now, I got these walls, which we can probably bring all the way up to the top. Actually, let's go one block before the top. Can I do something kind of funky here? What about something weird like that? Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's not the right block. Let's see what that looks like when I connect this all the way down again. Yeah, it's looking kind of nice, I think. We could also even do this. Since the window will go on the inside one, I can even have this connect right there as well. I think I like that more. Yeah, I think that's looking good. I think that'll be the window design. And then along with the windows, we are going to add some lovely spruce trapdoors because they are honestly just the best block in the game. Can you stop? No one invited you. Get out of here. Your children too. We got a little bit of trapdoorage and stairs to test this out, to see what I want to do here. So I'm thinking we just do something very typical. Okay, not jump off my scaffolding. That's not what I meant. All right, we threw down some trapdoors and some stairs at the top. I feel like it doesn't actually do all that much, but it's doing something, at least. I also changed up the window design just a tad. We put a wall at the top. I think it looks pretty good. Forget about that piece of deep slate just floating there. All right, I'm not going to get it, okay? Actually, it's bothering me. Let me go get it. I want to work on the entrance next. So let me just start throwing down some dark oak and stuff, and I'll see what I come up with. I think I'm okay with this entrance. Looks pretty decent to me. We can throw some lanterns on top of these walls then, too. Now, I did just realize something. This entrance should have been one block higher due to where the floor is going to go. But I think I can probably just put carpet on top of the bedrock in here and then put like a stair in here somewhere that goes up to the actual, you know, base floor of this building. I think we'll have to get rid of one piece of bedrock, which is this one right here. So I'm not going to be able to put a carpet there with the door on top of it, but that's not a big deal if it's only one piece of bedrock. Maybe three. Maybe I'll get rid of these 3 pieces of bedrock here. But that's not a huge deal. Way better than getting rid of all of the bedrock on the inside of the house. But yeah, anyway, let's decorate the rest of this building. I'll come back once I get the entire front face, and then we'll just kind of copy that design all the way around. We got like the entire front of the mansion decorated, and I think I'm okay with it. I definitely missed 2 walls up there though. One's supposed to go right there, one's supposed to go over here. How do I keep realizing that I missed something right when I start talking again? Now we should be good. All I need is glass to fill in the rest, but we'll get that later. But I think we can replicate this same design all the way around the house. Now, some of the windows will have to look a little bit different. Like, for example, like the windows right here that I'm going to put, like we can't make a whole thing around them because it's like too small of a space. But most of these places can have some pretty large windows. So let's go start working on that. I literally just noticed potentially the worst thing ever. Can you guys tell me what's wrong with this wall? Yeah, this one has a 4 wide gap. This one has a 5 wide gap. They were both supposed to be 5. Dude, get out of here. I'm complaining. These were supposed to be 5. Like it is over here. What this means then is I would have to extend this side of the build all by 1 block. I'm not doing that. So what I'm going to do instead is just take down this section. Maybe we don't take down the entire section. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something else to this instead. I think this is what we do instead. We make this a door. Not sure where this is going to go, but this is now going to be a door. Alrighty, just pretend that there's a door here. I'll fix that later. I do believe all of the walls should be decorated. We just need to add a couple more things to this build, and I think I can call it complete. Now we just need glass. I want to put a chimney on this, and I want to hang some lanterns all around. So just 3 final things. Hopefully they don't take too long. All right, I got all the stuff I needed from my storage room. We have a couple furnaces down here now smelting up some sand, so we can make some glass. While that's smelting, though, let's work on the chimney. And I think I'm going to use some of this basalt finally. I want to get some use out of this, alright? And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start with some basalt here. And then I kind of want to transition this into the stone and the tuff and stuff. Alright, I don't think I like this. It's also just too boxy. I have to change the shape of it for sure. I think what we do instead is use like the basalt and then bleed that into some black stone or something. And not actually use any regular stone or cobblestone here. Let's see, how are we feeling about that? I think that's a good shape. I am fine with this. Alright, let me build it up a couple more blocks. And now, normally, I would go with trapdoors to cover this. But instead, I want to do something different. Let's do that for the top. How does that look? pretty decent, I think. As long as I throw some stairs and put like some more supporting pillars on this, I think that's gonna look pretty good. All right, it's a bit like wonky looking, but I think I like it. I think that acts as a nice chimney for this kind of house. I think that works. I think that actually works out pretty well. Like, it's a little skinny in some spots and then fat in some other places, but honestly, I'm okay with it. It gets the effect I'm going for. Cool. All right, so lanterns and glass. And then I think we are done with this build. So let me go do that, and when I come back, we'll throw on some shaders and take a look at this build in all its glory. The shaders are on, all right, making the nether roof look as pretty as it could possibly look. And I'm very excited to show you guys what this completed build looks like with shaders on. I think it actually looks really cool. Anyway, though, without further ado, bada boom. This is the build. I kind of really like the effect the nether roof has right now, like the building's like wiggling. That looks kind of cool. Anyway, though, do I have my rockets out? I do not have my rockets out. Professional YouTuber here, by the way. All right, cool. Wait, hold on. Now we're good. All right. Yeah, here it is. The roof is pretty dark, but honestly, that doesn't matter. Usually, you light up a roof, like on the overworld, just so stuff doesn't spawn on top of it. But even if it's lit up in the nether, stuff's still gonna spawn on it. So it doesn't actually matter all that much. And for the windows, let me kind of explain what I did there. I combined white stained glass and regular glass. The idea is to kind of make the windows look older. Like they've been there for a while, and they're like deteriorating a little bit, or like fogging up or something. That's kind of the idea. I don't know if that effect is completely shown here, but that's what I wanted to happen. Got a whole bunch of lanterns all over the place. I could have used like the other lanterns, like the nether lanterns, but I think the regular lanterns look better in this case. But yeah, I'm definitely very happy with how this build turned out. It is the single biggest building I have ever built in Minecraft, so that's cool. It looks really good in my opinion from over here, like when you're coming out of the nether portal, like that just looks sick, man. I'm sorry to gas myself up, okay, but I'm actually kind of proud of this. It's a very weird feeling when you're building something and you don't think it's gonna look good, and then you finish it and then it looks good, because that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. When I was in the middle of building this thing, I thought it was gonna look like poop. I did not think I was gonna be able to make it look good, and I'm definitely at least satisfied with how it turned out. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed my nether hub. There's been a bunch of new subscribers over on the channel recently, and I really appreciate it. So if you are new, thank you very much for deciding to check me out. And if you're still watching this whole time, also, obviously, thank you very much for the continued viewership. You guys are the best. But I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. That's not where I wanted to zoom in. Whatever, that's the outro. Now, I don't think that I'm alone in thinking that the Minecraft villages need an update. At this point in the game, and the way that it's been for a while, there are 5 village types. You can have your plains villages, your desert villages, taiga villages, savanna, and snowy villages. And obviously, there are way more than 5 biomes in Minecraft. I feel like there are so many other biomes that certainly deserve to have their own village. So today I'm going to start a brand new project in my hardcore Minecraft world. I am going to be making a village in nearly every biome that doesn't already have one. And the reason I say nearly is because if you think of a jungle, there's like a bunch of different biomes within a jungle itself. Like you have your normal jungle, and then you also have jungle edge biomes and bamboo jungle biomes. Those are all technically counted as separate biomes, but I'm going to, include those all together. In this video, we're going to be focusing on 2 different biomes. We're going to have the Birch Village and the Dark Oak Village. So then, without further ado, let's fully get started with this episode. Actually, really quickly before we get started, I wanted to say that, like, part of the way through this video, I completely overhaul the mods I'm using and download an entirely new list. This is the list of mods that I downloaded recently, or almost all of them. I didn't actually use every single link here, but of course, as you can see, this is provided by Fwip. These are the mods that he uses in his hardcore series, and they make the experience of the game a lot better. Some of these are just for content creation, but a lot of them also just improve the performance of the game. So if you're struggling with performance issues or just want some other visual changes, these links are very useful. I do have one other goal I would like to accomplish before we do anything with villages. That other goal is a very simple one. I just want to complete my beacon. Alright, so last time we built an iron farm, and it was horrible, okay? Like, I could go check it now, but it probably doesn't even have a stack of iron. And that was going throughout, like, all last episode. So it's really bad. We currently have 54 blocks of iron. I think you need like, what, just over 2 stacks to make a full beacon? I'm just gonna go mining. I should be good if I can just find one of those really big iron veins underground. So we're gonna start today by doing that. Of course, though, let me show off what I did last time. I always like to show off the build of the previous episode at the beginning of the next one. This build is completely in the nether. I slammed my face. That kind of hurt. I'm gonna break my ankles. But this build is completely in the nether. We spent a lot of time on the nether roof last episode, building a nether hub. That looks horrible from the inside, but from the outside, looking pretty snazzy if you ask me. We built this really big, like, spooky mansion. You can go back and watch that episode if you missed it, if you would like to see the process of this build. This is easily the biggest building I've ever made in Minecraft. And honestly, admittedly, it's not completely done. Okay, you're gonna see these gaps here, because I want to put, like, a balcony. I just didn't get around to doing that yet. Alright, something else I would like to point out, I have a Twitter. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, link to that is in the description down below. I don't really tweet super often, but if you'd like to connect with me in any other way, you know, feel free to check out my Twitter down below. And I don't have any torches. Oh, I'm a dingus. That was a little close. I probably played that like a complete moron, but we're alive. It's fine. I would have been okay anyway because of my totem. But still, we're chilling. Did I find one? Is this one? This looks like it could be one. It's definitely one. Sweet. Alright, let's mine all this out. We got so much iron from this one vein, there's probably still even more. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nearly 6 stacks of iron ore. I think that's probably good to leave with. I guess let's grab the little bits on the way out, and then we can break all this down and see how much we actually end up with. All the iron has been mined up, and we got a lot of stacks of raw iron. I don't have a crafting table on me, so let me go check out how many blocks this is. That was enough for about 1.5 stacks blocks. I do not have enough iron, I don't believe. According to Reddit, it says you need 2 stacks and 36, which I'm not going to have. I'm very close, though, so that's good. Do I have any leftover iron here? Yeah, I have a little bit. It's enough for a couple more blocks, I suppose. I can probably just AFK the iron farm for the rest while all this stuff is smelting, because we don't actually need that many more. All right, let's go do that. I should have enough iron blocks now to make a full beacon, so that is super nice. And now, up next, we just have to go gather a whole bunch of materials. I'm going to start by gathering materials for the birch village. I was able to gather a lot of stuff just from my storage room here, and I think we can make a very, very good start on this village with the blocks we have here. So we have most of a shulker here, filled with some stone and some brick. This is what the chimneys are going to be out of. I haven't completely decided yet if I want to use stone blocks or if I want to have like a brick chimney for these buildings. The birch village is going to have 2 different buildings with 2 different pallets. The first pallet is going to be all these blocks for the walls. Now, all the birch logs will be stripped, don't worry about that. So it'll have like a gradient going from the oak wood to the birch and then to the sandstone, kind of like what we did with the Colosseum a couple episodes ago. And then we're probably going to use a lot of spruce somewhere. I don't exactly know where just yet, but I will definitely make use of all this spruce. Got a whole bunch of dark oak as well. I'm sure I'll make use out of that. And then we have deep slate. So the building that has this pallet for the walls will have a deep slate roof. Not super sure which kind of deep slate just yet. We might kind of just like mush them all together just to add a little bit of texture, but it'll certainly be deep slate. And then the other palette is going to be these white blocks. We're going to have the calcite, we're going to have diorite, we'll have polished diorite, and then that roof, I think it's going to have a spruce trim with birch in the middle. I also forgot to mention that we have some amethyst blocks and a little bit of shards. I want to get more of those for sure, because my idea, right, with the birch village and the dark oak village, they're both kind of gonna be magical in a way. That's kind of how I view both of those biomes. I always imagine the dark oak forest to be like a magic forest that is completely like dark and shrouded on the inside. Maybe it's some kind of like dark magic, maybe some evil magic, I don't really know. And then the birch is like the opposite of that. It's gonna be more like light magic, the maybe less evil magic, I don't know. But I definitely think the block of amethyst will work. We can probably just have some clusters just like floating in the sky. That'll be kind of cool. But I do think with this, we should be able to start construction. Now we just have to find a birch biome I want to build in. And preferably, I want to find a birch biome that is really close to a dark oak biome, which happens all the time. I don't know if that's actually a thing in this game, but I always find dark oak biomes like at the end of a birch biome. I think I actually quite like down that way. This was actually where I was gathering all my dark oak from. That's actually pretty funny. So I guess we cleared out a nice area here to start the dark oak village, but we're gonna start that second. Let me move over here, clear out a big area of birch trees, and we can start placing down some blockage. Yeah, so this looks like a mess, but let me explain. So, this structure right here, that is just all the birch logs, I want this to be a fountain. The placement of this is definitely subject to change. The beacon's just kind of in the way. I would ideally like to push this more this direction, just so it's more central around all the buildings. And we're going to have 4 houses surrounding this central fountain, and they're all pretty much the same size. They look very similar. They're all just a little bit different in their own kind of ways. This one here looks really weird, but it's just because there's so many different levels of elevation right here. I'll certainly fix that once we actually start building. My thought is that the pathway will connect all the way around the fountain. We'll then have smaller pathways branching off into the houses, and then the pathways will also meet back up again up here and then lead into a much bigger building. I didn't really mention this yet, but I think each of these villages is going to have like a big staple building that kind of like fits the theme of the village, at least the theme that I'm going for. So for example, I think we're gonna have like a school at the end here. Maybe that's where people can study magic. I don't really know. There's some lore there probably. And then like in the Dark Oak village, I want to have like a big library. That kind of makes sense. We can have some like enchanted books. Maybe that's like the dark side of the magic in this world. We'll have to come up with some other signature buildings in the future once I start making more of these custom villages. But definitely for now, I think that's a good start. And I think the school fits with this area quite well. I think it's time though that I cut away to a time lapse. Let's start building up one of these buildings. I'm going to start with this one right there. We have one house mostly built. I kind of forgot to bring over all my grain blocks, like all the leaves I have, like the mossy stuff, just to decorate the exterior with. I forgot all that stuff, so we have to make a trip back home, go grab some, and then we can actually completely finish this thing. But this is definitely the vibe I was going for. And I think this color palette looks really good. The plan then is to have one more of these houses out of the final 3. One more of them is going to be this exact color palette. The other 2 then will be a different color palette. I think they'll mesh pretty well together. But I like how this one looks. I think it fits into a birch biome pretty well. I also forgot a campfire. I definitely will forget that again. Even if I bring it, I'll probably forget to throw it up there. But let's head back home really fast. We can load up on some green blocks. That was the sickest like glide I've ever done. I have no idea how I just did that, but whatever. I almost forgot this, but I'm going to bring my beacon because I'm going to go collect some more deep slate as well. We're going to need more to finish off the next house in this same color palette because, of course, we need deep slate for the roof, and I am almost completely out. So let me grab my beacon. We're down here in the deep slate mine. We have our full beacon set up. Let me just go fill up this entire shulker with this deep slate. On second thought, I'm actually not going to fill up this entire shulker because I don't actually think I need to. This should be plenty because I only do need this for the roof of one more building. I loaded up on a bunch of random stuff. Now, some of it I might end up using, like the different moss variants. I might incorporate those somewhere. But then we have like white concrete powder, and this is certainly going to be used. I'm going to use this in the walls of one of the buildings. The building where I'm going to be using calcite and diorite and stuff. White concrete powder looks really good with those blocks. I prefer the concrete powder as well over the concrete itself because the powder just has more texture to it. I think it works better in a wall, at least in this example. All right, you've gotten to the point in the video where I have completely overhauled all of my mods. All right, I'm planning on saying something at the beginning of this episode about that. So I really hope future Shram remembers to put that in. And if not, he will have to record that point once he edits this section of the video. This is getting like weirdly meta right now. But anyway, yeah. I wanted to point out one of the mods I downloaded. It is this mod that makes it so if it's dark in a cave or dark outside, it does not look dark. So as you can see, this is completely lit up. This is what it would normally look like. But the gamma is hacked or modded whatever to like 1500. So now every cave is like perfectly lit up. I don't think it's an issue that I have this on. A lot of other Minecraft YouTubers have this setting turned on. Maybe it's something I turn off once I start a new world again. Just because I feel like part of the danger of going mining early on is not being able to see what is around you without torches, you know? So maybe I turn this off when I'm actually genuinely doing some mining at the start of a new world. But I feel like at the point I am in this world, it's fine to have on. But I have finally switched over to sodium. I've been told by so many people to do this. I'm using sodium, I'm using fabric, I'm using iris, all those words that I wasn't really too familiar with before. But we're using all of these. It actually has given me a much better performance in this game. I am like stuttering a lot less, which is beautiful. So if you're looking to maybe enhance your own Minecraft performance, then certainly go ahead and download some of the links I mentioned earlier. I'm hoping that I remember to put up an image of what Flip has downloaded in his world, because that's kind of what I just did. I just went down his entire list and just downloaded like everything. I can't tell if the leaves look different to me. I feel like they look a little bit weird. Oh my god, that is the most cursed thing I've ever seen. Get that off of my screen, please. Alright, anyway, now that that nightmare is gone, they look a little bit weird. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't know. Let's just continue building. We are going to work on this house over here next, I think. And this one is going to be a different color palette. This is going to have the white walls. So we're going to have calcite, diorite, white concrete powder. Also, probably some birch wood. That actually looks pretty good with this, you know, color palette we have going. And then the roof of this one will be out of spruce wood as the trim, and then a birch wood on the inside. So let's cut it away to another time lapse, and let's start building this bad boy. The building's not finished, but I kind of just wanted to give you guys an update. I am completely out of calcite, so I have to go gather some more of that, but here's a work in progress of the building. I'm liking how it's turning out so far. I think the color palette is definitely working out well. But there's a whole bunch more stuff we have to do to this, and I don't want to do anything else until I get more calcite. I found a geode. That was actually perfect. I just flew right into this random cave and it was right here. Nice. Alright, I'm fairly certain I got all of the calcite out of this geode. Or at the very least, I got a ton of it. That should be enough for the two houses, you know, that we're going to use the white color palette for. Let's just go finish this house then. Another structure is done. It still looks very bare, I'm aware. Okay, yeah. But I will fix that once we actually bring in some decoration for the outside. We got two more buildings left to go. This one here is going to be this color palette, and that one over there will be this color palette. Now, I know for sure when I build this building again, I'm going to need more spruce wood. So to procrastinate that a little bit longer, let's build this one, because I think I should have all the materials for that. One more house is built. Just copied the same design as over there. And I just realized I missed the chimney. Alright, 1 second. Alright, we now have a chimney. Looking a lot better. Now for this last house, we're going to need to fill up on spruce wood. I think it's probably time then to set up a nether portal here and get onto the roof again. Light this portal back up, and this should hopefully take us directly back to the birch forest. And it does, perfect. All right, we can get back very easily now. Let's go do that and fill up this shulker entirely with spruce. I have gathered up so much spruce wood in this world, it's insane. This is definitely the most spruce wood I have ever gathered in one world. Let me check out how many I have actually mined. 13,571. Netherrack is still the top, but still, a lot of spruce wood in this world. That actually just took over number 2. It was previously stone. Yeah, that's definitely the most spruce wood I've ever mined in one world. This is the longest I've ever played a Minecraft world for, so it makes sense. But geez, I think I've used spruce wood in literally every single thing I've ever built in this world. And with that out of the way, we can start constructing the final house of this village. The fourth house is now finished. Well, at least the structure is. You know how it goes by now. We will be doing the rest of the exterior decoration here in a little while, but the base structure is up. And this is what like the main courtyard area is going to look like, at least in terms of these buildings. Obviously, a ton more work to do down here, but I do want to move up here now, and we can start laying out like the bigger building in this area. It'll probably be a little bit bigger than these houses. I don't want to make anything massive, but I don't want to make it the same size as these homes. So let me just go grab some birch wood and we can kind of line out how big this build is going to be. We also certainly have to clear out an area back here. I think this level is probably good to start clearing out. So let's do this for a little while, get ourselves a nice big area to build on, and then we can lay out the dimensions of this building. I cleared out a pretty big area, and I put down this structure thing here, this outline, I guess is a better word for it. And this is what I'm thinking of for this building. Now, I want to have the entrance right here, and we're going to have 2 bits of the building that extend past the entrance on either side. I think it'll look kind of cool. So the main like part of the building will be over here. I guess we could probably have some other rooms like classrooms and stuff over in this direction. The main rectangle I kind of started off with is this one right here. But with the outline down, let's go ahead and actually start building this thing. Alright, so all of the buildings are in place. The school has just been finished. I think it looks pretty cool. Has an interesting shape to it, has a nice color palette, I think. It fits very well in the area. And now we have to work on the exteriors of everything. So we have to do the path around the whole area, we have to build up this fountain, and we have to like decorate the rest of the buildings by putting some leaves everywhere, putting in some windows, doing some other exterior decoration stuff. So still a decent amount to do. I've also thought about something else. I'm going to take down this little canopy here. I'm just going to do this instead. I think it looks fine. But I guess the next order of business should probably be the centerpiece. It should probably be the fountain. And I gotta be honest, I have no idea what to do for this. I kind of just consulted Google. I looked up just Minecraft fountain design, and I found a couple nice pictures. I'll throw a couple of them on the screen. And I'm going to take a bit of inspiration from these, at least from the shape, because I have no idea what to do for this thing, man. Just throwing down some random blocks kind of at the moment. We're going to see how this goes. It looks really bad because it's just cobblestone, but maybe after some texturing it'll look a little bit better. So let's work in some more blocks, and let's see what it looks like in the end, I guess. After a little bit of texturing, I definitely think it looks better. Now we just kind of have to put like a little ring around this thing to actually catch the water. As of now, I just have tough blocks right there blocking the water. But let's kind of just throw down like a ring of slabs, I guess. I think this is a good size then all the way around. I think we should be able to go ahead then and just decorate these slabs a little bit more. So let's break up the pattern because I just kind of threw down all the cobblestone slabs I had and then finish them off with regular stone slabs. So let's break this up, add a little bit more texture in between here with some mossy slabs as well. I'm also going to go ahead and bring a few of these up a little bit, make it a little bit weird. I think that'll look kind of cool. I think I'm comfortable with that. A few of those are brought up a little bit more. I think it looks kind of cool. Now let's let the water go, and that should fill out this entire thing. Maybe I'll actually use more water to fill it out all evenly. Yeah, that looks really bad when it's not even. Let me go do that. There we go. The water is all nice and still, and then I realized that areas where I left just one slab, I want to put another one on top of because it looks really weird with the water like that. And I think as well, just to add a little bit of spruce to this to make it look a little bit different, to spruce it up. Alright, I'm sorry. But yeah, to actually add a little bit more color to this, let me go grab some spruce signs. And let me kind of just add these wherever I can. Now, I can't put them all over the place, but maybe we can put some bushes around here to cover up the spots I can't put them. Also hit a super secret sign in the middle there. I wonder what it says. I don't know. Next up then, I think I want to work on the path. And I'm not going to do any crazy path design for this. I'll probably just use a whole bunch of path blocks. And then I'm thinking just like spruce wood or something. That usually looks good. But I do want to make this area look a little bit better first. So let me do a little bit of terraforming here. Alright, I think I like this terrain a little bit more. Didn't do all that much to it, but kind of just flattened out some bits. Just gave myself a little bit more room around the fountain as well. But I guess let's just kind of start here, and let's just go start making a big old path around this whole area. Got ourselves just a very basic path for now. We will add a bit more texture to this for sure, but it at least runs all the way through this area, goes up to the school, and we also have little branching off bits to each house. And to texture up this path, instead of using spruce like I said I was going to, we are going to use some sandstone, some stripped birch logs, some birch planks, and then some oak and stripped oak. That'll probably look good. I threw down most of this path, and I hate it. I really don't like how these blocks mesh together, so I'm just going to switch this out, probably for like coarse dirt, something really simple. Yeah, I think the coarse dirt looks way better. The wood just looked really out of place. Let me go gather a whole bunch of leaves then. And we can finally start putting leaves everywhere in this village and giving it a lot more life. Got a lot of leaves. Hopefully this is enough. But let's go start throwing these all over the place. I'm actually going to begin by sort of bordering off the path here with a bunch of leaves and probably some fences and walls. We can probably use some birch fences and then like sandstone walls. Yeah, that'll probably look good. This area is definitely coming a bit more alive with all these bushes looking pretty cool. Now we definitely need some light in this place at night. So let me grab all of my lanterns, which are somewhere. If I can find them. There we go. I have 33 lanterns here. I can always head back home and, you know, go back to the iron farm and everything to get a little bit more. But I'm gonna check a few of these on top of some of the fences, on top of the walls as well, just so this place is nice and lit up at night. Also around the fountain, why not? Yeah, so I think the pathway is nearly done. The last thing I would like to do is add some bone meal everywhere, just to give the area even more life. It's looking nice and overgrown. That's perfect. I think it looks so much better now. Just bone meal is such a simple thing you can do to your areas, but I feel like it enhances them so much. I think we are on now the last little bit of exterior decoration to this area, and then we can kind of call it done. And that decoration is all going to be focused on the buildings. We have done nothing to the outsides of these buildings, so we gotta add a whole bunch of stuff. Gotta add some more leaves kind of draping off of the roofs. We gotta add some more like barrels and hay bales and composters, all that fun stuff all around the area, and especially lanterns. I haven't put lanterns anywhere on these buildings. This might take a little while, but it'll improve the builds so much. So I didn't actually end up doing all that much exterior decoration. I kind of just threw down some leaves and some lanterns around the buildings, and I think it looks really good the way it is. I don't really think I need anything else. I don't really want to over decorate or anything like that. I think I'm in a pretty comfortable spot with this village. I do wish I had more like the bigger amethyst like clustered things. Like I only had one pretty big one and I put it over there. The rest of these are pretty small, but it's okay. Maybe I can come back and replace these later. I went back to the geode I found earlier in the video, and we only had the small ones there. I didn't really want to wait there for them to grow, so we're chilling with what we got. But yeah, I think this area looks pretty cool. I will come back with shaders, though, when I finish the other village in today's episode, considering they will be so close to one another and kind of just walk over. Kind of wanted to do just like a quick run through, though, without shaders on, just to kind of give you the vibes. Let me turn off the max gamma thing, so it's a little bit darker here, too. But yeah, looking pretty cool, I think. But now, let's start preparing for the Dark Oak Village. We also got to clear out this big ol' shulker mess. That'll take me a couple years, probably. But I guess let's just get started with that, and then we can collect a whole bunch more materials. So off I went then, gathering up some materials, the main ones being some spruce wood. I mean, of course, I use that in literally everything. Terracotta, which we're going to use for some of the roofs of these buildings. We got dark oak, of course. We're in a dark oak forest after all, and I have to fit that vibe. And then we got some stone to round it out. All the materials I gathered are in these shulker boxes right here. We have a bunch of stuff. Now, we are very close to where the birch village is. Birch village is right there. I'm gonna start building this one in this open area here. Let's just begin here by outlining a layout for this whole village. Now, instead of having a fountain in the middle of this one, I want to have like kind of a garden, I guess you can think of it. I want to have like a field for like mushrooms and trees and shrubs and stuff like that. I think that could look pretty cool. So we're just gonna get like a weird shape here in the middle. Not gonna be like perfectly symmetrical or anything like that. Honestly, the weirder looking the shape, the better. And I think that works really well as the centerpiece here. Then I think from here, we can probably have a house over here somewhere. Let's clear out a little bit of this grass. Now the boxes for these houses are going to probably look small, but it's okay because I think I'm gonna make up for that in the roofs. The roofs of these houses are going to be really big. They're gonna be the most interesting part of the build, I think. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I actually start building one of these houses. Now, I've kind of designed one of these houses in a creative world because this is an entirely new style to what I'm used to. So I definitely needed to practice a little bit. And the house that I did practice on was this size. We have a 9x7 rectangle here. We might add in a couple other like little rectangles branching off of this somewhere. I don't really know. I mean, we're gonna need an entrance somewhere, unless I just kind of throw the entrance in the side. That's totally an option. But once I start building this thing up, I'll kind of figure it out from there. I think we can certainly have another one back here then. Now in the birch forest, each house was a completely different shape, but I think here we're probably gonna stick to like the same uniform building, but we're kind of just gonna change up the roof. And by change up the roof, I kind of just mean the color. I think the shape of the roof will probably be the same, unless I decide to tweak that too. So these are where the 4 houses are going to go. I probably could have made this one over here a diagonal building, but I'm really not good at building those, personally. So we're just going to keep it normal. And I think the main build is going to go back here. Fairly certain I've mentioned this already in this episode, but this is going to be a library. But yeah, now that we have the layout down, I guess we can kind of just start building. I'm going to build one of these houses and then kind of go over what I did. And then we can use that same kind of schematic for the rest of these builds. But let's choose this one. Sure, it looks good to me. Now, obviously, this build needs a lot more decoration to it, but I'm going to tackle all the decoration once again once I get all of the structures built. Exactly like I did the Birch Village. But this is the idea of the buildings for this area. I really like this shape. I try to get more intricate with the roof. I'm just trying to get better at making roofs in general. I usually make them very flat, very normal looking, but I try to make this one look a little bit more interesting. And I gotta say, I just kind of Googled like fantasy houses in Minecraft, and I found this picture, and I used this as some inspiration, kind of stacking the different floors on top of each other in this sort of way. Now, of course, the image on Google is a much larger house, but I just liked that vibe, so I tried to capture that here. Now, these other 3 houses are going to be made in this exact style. It's probably going to be the exact building, just a different roof color. Now, actually, one of these other houses is going to be this exact building again with the same roof color. And the other 2, I think I'm going to do a black roof for those. I feel like that could look really cool. We might change up the wall design then. Maybe instead of using spruce up here, maybe we go ahead and use some dark oak or something like that, or maybe some regular oak, and then use spruce for the pillars and stuff. That might be a decent idea, just to change it up a little bit more. So let's get started building up the final 3 houses here for this village. Now, all 4 of the buildings are, completely up. Obviously, they still have to be decorated on the outside, but at least the structures are all in place. And I also lined out where the library is going to go. There's going to be a path that connects, like, through this little area back to the Birch Village, and I think seeing the library as, like, the first thing as you walk through this way would probably look really cool. But I got this nice sized rectangle, fairly big on the inside. And I have like a mental image of, I think, the shape of this build. I'm just gonna freehand this the best I can. That's just kind of what I do in this world. I freehand most things. But after we build up this structure, we can go ahead and decorate everything on the outside with the path, with this like, little field garden thing in the middle, and of course the rest of these buildings, putting in the windows, the leaves, all that fun stuff. But for the last time in this video, let's build another building. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the time lapses in this video. I believe that should be the final one. And I also kind of want some feedback on them, because I feel like this episode had a ton of time lapses in it. So if you want to, could you let me know in the comments how you felt about all the time lapses? If it was way too many, let me know, and I'll try to have fewer the next time I do a build like this big. Next time I have an episode, where I build this many buildings. But this is the library. I think it fits the vibe of this area quite well. We combine the different roof colors here into one building. I'm comfortable with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Next up, though, I want to start working on the centerpiece of this little town. So we're going to be working on the little mushroom garden. And actually, I can kind of just take this mushroom here, and we can kind of come up with some designs. So let me get this entire mushroom, and let me try to come up with just some kind of design. I definitely think this looks pretty cool. I think it's a good upgrade to like the vanilla, mushroom design. So I think we probably have like one more red one. Maybe then we have a brown mushroom in here as well. But I think this is gonna look really cool when everything gets placed down. But before I actually start building up more of the mushrooms, I want to work on the wall around this thing. I think we're gonna use a lot of dark oak in this little like fence wall thing that we have going on. I'm gonna throw down some planks. We're gonna have some stripped dark oak and then just some regular dark oak chilling. Maybe also some like fences and stuff once we build this up a little bit more. I think this is good. We have a good amount of space in here. I like the texturing on the wall. We're probably going to add another, like, red mushroom, and then maybe a couple smaller brown mushrooms in here. But let me go gather a few more mushroom materials. Alright, we built up a second mushroom, and we got 2 small brown mushrooms over here as well. Now, I definitely have bone meal, right? Yeah, sweet. Okay, so let's just kind of bone meal the grass all in here. I think that's probably all I really have to do in terms of, like, the vegetation decoration in here. Let me just throw down some lanterns that I can probably call this little main area finished. Actually, I'll throw a little bit of the azalea stuff in here too, because why not? And I think we got ourselves a little garden. Acts as a cool centerpiece, I think, to this area. Now let's do the path the rest of the way around. And I think instead of using path block, I'm going to use coarse dirt. I like this. That's good enough for me. But we do have to link this path up with both the library back here and the Birch Village. So let's go start doing that. All right, this is going to be the final path design then. I think the mud adds quite a bit. Just a little like pop of a different texture in here. Looking pretty good. And now obviously there's way more stuff we can do to this path because I have to border it with something. And we'll probably just have some dark oak fences and then some leaves, which I actually have to go collect. Unless, do I have any extra from this village? I might. Hey, we have 2 stacks. Almost 3 stacks. The paths are now connected and decorated. So with that out of the way, I think we can move on to just bone mealing a little bit of this area. And then we can finally complete it by finishing off the buildings. I bone mealed a lot of this area, but I had to like terraform back here. That's why a lot of this is just dirt. And you can't really bone meal that. It doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna wait for all that to grow before I bone meal everything else. So I guess while I'm waiting for this all to turn into grass, we can go ahead and start finishing up the houses finally. The front face of the buildings are now decorated. We got some light, we got some windows, got a couple like potted leaves, looking pretty cool. And the absolute final thing I want to do is just throw some lanterns around the library just to light it up. I should really stop myself because I'm just going to keep finding random things I want to change. But let me bone meal this, and then I'll actually call this episode done. Now at the start of this episode, this area looked like this. And at the end, roughly 100 days later, it has been transformed into these 2 villages. I'm really proud of how this build turned out, and I hope you guys liked it as well. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Now, over the last few episodes, I spent a lot of time doing projects outside of the starter area. We built our nether mansion on top of the nether roof, acting as our nether hub. And then I also built 2 custom villages right next to each other. We got a birch village and a dark oak village. But today we are going to be returning back to the starter area, back to home, and we are going to be transforming this entire area. Now, I think it already looks pretty cool, but it could look a lot better. So I decided to spend approximately 100 in-game Minecraft days adding some new buildings, adding some custom trees, and just some other custom terrain around the area to complete the starter village, town area, whatever you want to call it. I hope you guys end up enjoying the build. I really like how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Do you guys like my new totem texture? I've been meaning to look up how to do this for a very long time, but I kind of just kept procrastinating. But here we are. We finally have a new texture. It is like one of the best things I've probably ever seen. SpongeBob is probably unironically like one of my favorite shows, at least the earlier seasons. They're so good. They're so well made. They're hilarious even as an adult, honestly. Memes aside though, I have 2 more buildings I for sure want to add to this area. One of those is a church. I feel like a place of worship might make sense in an area like this. I don't know what we're gonna worship, but I'll figure it out. And then the other thing is I want to add like a quarry area because, you know, where I've been gathering stone, it's kind of just like behind the gazebo over there. There's just a small hole that I just kind of drop into. And I even made a second little stone gathering area up there with that like stone pillar you can see peeking through the woods. And that's not going to really cut it. All right, I want to make it more aesthetically pleasing. So I really want to add a quarry area with like a crane dropping down, picking up some materials. Obviously the crane won't be an actual functional thing, but you know, it's fine. We can imagine. I think over here would probably be a good spot for the quarry. We can just make like a really big hole in the ground over here and then design it however I want with some pathways, with some other like storage areas down there. And then as for the church, I think over here would be a good spot. I have to clear out a whole bunch of these trees, but that'll look really nice, I think. And speaking of trees, I'm going to be building a lot of custom trees. I want to make this area my own custom biome. That's kind of the idea here. And these vanilla Minecraft trees, that's not a custom biome, all right? So we're gonna probably get rid of like all of these. That might take me a very long time, but I really think it'll be worth it in the end. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me kind of lay out a couple of the things I want to build. Now I have laid out 3 different areas, okay? So we have the quarry over here. It is really small as of now, but, you know, I have a lot of room over in this direction, back over here to go to. I just wanted to give it like a spot. This area right here is just a small residential area. You know, we don't really have any houses here aside from mine. So I wanted to make like a little neighborhood kind of thing in this village. Maybe all these people work in the farmland, in the quarry, all that fun stuff. Maybe in like the wood factory area thing. So I think their houses being close to all that stuff makes a lot of sense. And then also the church. It's going to be over here, like right beneath me right now, instead of being back over this way. So what I'm going to do now then is I'm going to start chopping down a large majority of the trees in my area. Now this is certainly going to take a lot of time, but I think it's going to be well worth it in the end. I just chopped down a whole bunch of trees. Now the area looks quite bare in the middle here, but that's okay. We're gonna be replacing them. And at least now we have a whole lot of materials to rebuild a bunch of trees with, so that's nice. I was doing my best to collect leaves as I was going to, so we actually have a decent starting point then when I, decide to go build all these custom trees. The next thing I would like to work on though is just more terraforming. I never finished this like cliffside thing that I was building, so I actually want to finish that. This cliff face is now finally completely done. That was probably a bit, long overdue. This was floating for a long time. Next up then, I would like to tackle the church. And we certainly have to do some terraforming to this, because I do not want my church floating. Alright, we have a nice and flat area now, and I also tweaked the dimensions of the build, making it a little bit bigger. The idea then with this build is that this is going to be the main part of the church, and then over here will just be a nice big tower. Probably have to figure out a spot for the entrance. Maybe I put that in over here. I'll decide that in a little while, but I think we can at least start building this up a little bit. I'm going to be using mainly stone blocks, and then the roof will be out of spruce wood. It should look pretty good. Now, I still have to add the windows in here, and I still have to do the interior, but we have a church now. I think it fits in really well right there. I still have to connect up the path and everything, but I'll do that near the end. And I also think I'm going to do all of these interiors at the same time. So I'll just build up all the structures first, and then we can work on the interiors. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I completely forgot to do the interior for the church. My bad. I'll try to get that done between episodes, and I'll show it off next time. The next thing I want to do is work on the quarry. So let me throw down my beacon, and then we can just dig a giant hole. Alright, quick update, because I have to go heal up my tools. My pickaxes are about to die. Also my shovel. But yeah, we made a lot of progress. And as you can kind of see here, I want to have a few different levels down here. So this is going to be like the first level. Then we can drop off to the second level here. And then I think the rest here is just going to go down another maybe like 8 or 9 blocks. There's not too much more to go. But I think 3 levels to this makes a lot of sense. But let me go heal up my pickaxes and then we will be back. And if you're wondering how much stone that got me, it got me a lot of stone. I have at least 1 double chest of stone and of cobblestone, about 1.5 of each of them, and then like half a chest, a little bit more than that, of dirt and grass and stuff. Also all this random miscellaneous stuff. Next up then with this project, I want to touch up the walls because it looks horrible right now. And I want to work in some like really big like rectangular rocks and stuff. Because if you guys have played Modern Warfare 2 before, like the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the one that came out in like 2009, there was a map called Quarry on that game, and in that map, all of the rocks and stuff inside the quarry are very boxed off. They're like huge, like rectangular prism things. And also, with the person I take probably the most inspiration from in Minecraft, Fwip has made a quarry in his hardcore Minecraft world. I've mentioned him so many times in my world because his builds are awesome. And he's a great person to take inspiration from, at least in my opinion. But in his quarry, it's the same kind of idea. Now, I'm going to be detailing the rocks a lot more than what I'm about to do right now. I think I'm just going to throw down just regular smooth stone, just so I can get like a relative shape of everything, but I will be detailing them more with like tough, with cobblestone, maybe some mossy stuff here and there. But let's see what I can come up with here. Let's kind of work just up here in a much smaller scale, and we can kind of branch it off to everything then. I was kind of thinking something like this. Right, if we kind of just replicate this sort of design all the way around, I think it'll look really cool. So let's grab up a whole bunch more stone that we just mined, and let's go start working on all the walls. All right, so this is pretty much exactly what I had in mind with like the shapes of all these rocks and stuff. I think this looks pretty cool. But now that we actually have a good shape over there, let's go ahead and let's go grab some texturing blocks. I was trying to figure out the texturing I wanted to use for these walls, and originally I was going to do like tough, mossy cobble, moss, and stuff like that, and then eventually work that into stone, but I don't think I'm going to do that here. I think I want to do something just like this. It's very simple, but it's just like cobblestone, diorite, and stone. I want to do that all the way around. So don't mind this big blob of cobblestone. I just had to patch up the hole I was like kind of working on, but I do need to go gather up a bunch of diorite because I don't really have any. I have like just over a stack and a half. Alright, I have a good bit of andesite now. I can always go back and gather more if I need it. But now let's finally start detailing all of the walls here. And just like that, we have texturing now on all of the walls. It's definitely about time that we work on the ground in here, because I kind of don't want all of the ground to be stone. I want to work in some like coarse dirt and probably some like path blocks in here, just to make some pathways on the different like levels. We got some dirt, we got some coarse dirt, and I also got some mud. I feel like that'll look good. Now, I don't want the pathways on each level to be massive, but just big enough so that we can walk through it, you know? Something like this, I think, is going to look really nice in here. I think the coarse dirt with the brick and stuff is a nice contrast to all the gray that we have in here. I think it'll fit in very well. We also have a nice little staircase getting down to the second level here, where then this path can kind of cut off to the right. This way to the left here is how we're going to get down to the final level. Yeah, I like what this pathway looks like. I think it fits in well down there. But now we actually need a way to get down in the quarry itself from the surface. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some spruce slabs. And with these slabs, we're gonna make a staircase going all the way down, but it's also going to be like connected to the walls. All right, so we have a staircase now going down, but I want to spruce it up a little bit. No pun intended, but I'm going to be adding some spruce wood underneath, just to make it look like it's actually being supported. Yeah, I think this looks pretty cool as a way to get down into the mine. We're going to use this same kind of design here to get down to the bottom level too. All right, there we go. Now we can get all the way down to the bottom layer. And down here, I'm kind of just gonna fill in a decent portion of the ground with like coarse dirt and stuff like that. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. The last thing I want to add all the way down here is just a little bit of light. So we're gonna throw down some fences every so often and just throw a lantern on them. There is one final thing I want to add to the area here around the quarry, and that is a building. We're gonna have a storage building here with a crane attached to it. And at the bottom of that crane, we're gonna put a little cart with some materials that's like being, you know, pulled up from the quarry. I think we're gonna go with an L-shaped building, like a back around this edge right here. So that means I have to fill in this huge hole. All right, we got ourselves a nice flat area over here. So let's grab some building blocks. I'm actually just gonna start out with a quick little outline. It might be looking a little weird right now, but this is going to be the size of the building. It's all going to be like open concept, kind of like the little extension we have right there of the tree building, or the wood building. I don't know, I keep calling it the tree building. I also just realized I missed some trapdoors up there. I need to fix that. All right, that's way better now. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to be completely open concept right here. All of these blocks are spaced 3 apart, and we're gonna have this little archway design between all of them. It's gonna be a fairly basic looking building, but it's okay. I think it'll look nice. Now, like, halfway through building everything that I just built, I stopped my replay mod recording to go get some more materials that I needed, and I forgot to start the recording again once I got back. So not everything was actually in that time lapse, but let me go over everything that I just built. So I think most of the building was in the time lapse, just probably aside from the leaves and the lanterns and stuff, and probably the barrels underneath everything here. Maybe the fences as well. But this is the kind of vibe I wanted for this building. I wanted it to be all open concept. I'll fix what it looks like in here in a little while once I actually do the interiors of everything, but I think it looks good enough for now. And I also built this little crane thing. As you can see, it's like pulling up some rocks and some ores and stuff from the quarry itself. And I think it looks pretty good. I consulted Google once again, and I found this image that I used as my reference point. And I tried to keep that same idea here with my crane. I think it works well. It's like slightly overhanging the quarry itself, but I built a little platform where it's actually being like supported on the sides with those stairs and stuff. I think it's a cool little addition to this area. But I believe with the building and the crane, this area is pretty much done. Now there's more stuff I can do to this, like exterior decoration and stuff, but I'm gonna tackle that all together when I start throwing down the custom trees and the bushes and stuff like that around this whole area. The next thing I would like to work on is this little neighborhood right here, which I will have to move a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Now, after moving the layout of the neighborhood back, I went off gathering some materials. So we got some clay because I want to use some bricks in this build. We got some dark oak because, of course, I love dark oak. Got granite to pair with those bricks. And then we also, of course, ended up getting some more spruce. I use spruce and everything. It shouldn't really come as a surprise right now that I'm using it in this build as well. All the materials I just gathered are in the shulkers, and then the clay is being smelted into the bricks here in this little auto smelter thing. So we should have all the things we need to actually begin this build. I hope this is enough to finish it, but I guess if it's not, we can go collect more later. But anyway, let's start the time lapse. Alright, we now have 6 houses down here. I decided to go with 6 over 8 just because I felt like 6 was enough. I feel like it rounded off this area pretty nicely. But they're all relatively small. They look kind of similar in some aspects, but I like how this little area turned out. Now, we still need to put the path that goes through this entire area and like the windows and the doors to all the houses, but I'll get working on that in a little bit. I want to start working on the custom trees and stuff that are going to go around this area. Let me begin by clearing out my entire workspace over here, and then we can start throwing some wood into these shulkers. Everything is now all organized. All the shulker boxes are empty, aside from this pink one that I always carry on me with fireworks and whatnot. But the main trees I want to build in this area, I want to build oak trees and birch trees. So we have to go collect a whole bunch of the respective wood and leaf types. But I should have a lot of birch. Yeah, I have a ton of birch logs. So let's just throw all these into a shulker. And then oak I don't have nearly as much. Still a decent bit. But we're definitely gonna have to go collect some more oak. I might actually be good on birch for a pretty long while. But let's definitely grab some fences, some stairs, because I'll probably throw those in the trees as well. And then probably some slabs. Same thing with the birch here. I might even throw in some sandstone walls. Every so often. Don't know if that's something I'm gonna do a lot of, but it could potentially look good together. And then I actually need some diorite, because the diorite walls look really good with the birch logs. And then obviously leaves. I have a lot of oak leaves. Okay, so let's get an entire shulker of oak leaves if I can. I can get most of a shulker of oak leaves. And then let's try to fill a shulker with birch leaves. I know I'm not going to be able to do that for my collection of leaves, but we have a little bit of a start, almost 3 stacks. So then I think the plan for now is to fill out these shulkers with the respective materials. So this shulker, I want to completely fill it with oak logs. This one I want to fill out with birch logs, only a couple more stacks to go. This one just birch leaves, and then this one oak leaves. So let's go get started on that. I'm really sorry to do this to the wildlife here in Minecraft, but yeah, I'm just gonna completely destroy this ecosystem. Both of the birch shulkers are now filled. So let's go gather up some oak wood. We now have a ton of oak leaves, so we filled up an entire shulker and have almost half of a second shulker. But we didn't really get all that many extra oak logs out of that, but honestly I think it's okay, because I want to use some stripped spruce in those trees as well. So if we can fill out this shulker with spruce wood, we should be good. Alright, and just like that, we have a bunch more spruce wood now. I'm going to run around then, and we're going to throw down some birch wood and some oak wood to kind of signify where these trees are going to go. So let's kind of just figure out how many I really want here. All right, so I dotted down some oak wood and some birch wood all over the place. You can kind of see a couple different places. Like there's one right there. There's a birch one. There is a pretty big looking oak one because I kind of want that to be a bigger style tree. Another oak one there. You can kind of just see them all over the place if you look around. Those are all going to be trees. I might throw in more than that as well, but I feel like this is at least how many I'm going to build. Unless I start building them and it turns out I don't need as many, I don't really know. I'm not really a big custom tree guy, but I kind of want to use this as a way to get better at making custom trees. So let's start throwing down a few of these. I think I'm just going to kind of work right here. Let's do these 3, and then maybe the big one. And then I'll come back and kind of describe what I did. Now these are the designs that I came up with a little help from Google. I kind of just looked up birch and oak custom trees to get a little bit of inspiration. It was definitely needed because I had no idea how to start these, but I think they turned out pretty well. And this area is going to look a hell of a lot better when we put these all over the place. So these are the 3 smaller ones that I came up with. And then we got a slightly chunkier boy over here. It's a good spot for it because it's in this like little raised area. I think it fit pretty well right here. But now that we got the basics down, let's replicate these 3 trees all around the rest of the area. This place is now littered with custom trees. We have a whole bunch, we have a bunch of birch, a bunch of oak trees everywhere, and I think it's looking pretty cool. But we are still not done decorating like the landscape of this area, because we still have to connect up all the pathways to all the new places that we just built. We're going to be going with the same old path design we've been going with this whole entire time, so we're going to have some path block, probably some mud, some coarse dirt, some rocks, and then got some fences and probably some leaves kind of bordering around the path. So let me do one small area over here, and then we will replicate the entire design all the way around. So I'm going to do this area back here between these trees. Let's go ahead then and load up on some materials. So I'm going to grab a whole bunch of grass just in case I have to terraform anything. Let's get some packed mud and some mud bricks. Actually, I really want the mud brick slabs more than anything else. We're going to grab some moss stuff because, of course, I mean, it always looks good when you're decorating with some moss. We're also going to grab some of the leftover stacks of logs that we still had. I'm not going to be putting down any more trees, I don't think, but I do kind of want to have some logs just like on the ground, maybe covered in some moss. I think that'll look kind of cool. Then maybe a couple like campfires because I want to throw some campsites around the area. And obviously we cannot forget about the coarse dirt. That is one of my favorite blocks in the game, honestly. It looks so good in pathways. And the last few things we're going to grab some like rock blocks, and then we're also going to get some leaves. That should be a good start for now. If I realize anything else I would like to grab, I can always just fly back to the storage room. I'm going to start by doing a little bit of terraforming over here because this landscape looks a little bit awkward. I like what this looks like a little bit more. There's not as many holes everywhere. So I'm just going to kind of start from right here. I'm just gonna start off with some path block for now, and then we will decorate it further. Alright, we got some nice and simple path block in here, so let's incorporate some of the other stuff. I'm gonna throw down some of the rock blocks, Some coarse dirt, of course. We'll get some mud in there as well, and then probably some moss. Yeah, so nothing too crazy right now. Kind of just threw down all the texturing blocks, and then I also bone mealed some of the moss on the outsides. I've seen Mythical Sausage do this before in his pathways, and I really like what it looks like. And now I'm gonna throw on like the rest of the border here. So what we're gonna do is the classic fence and then leave combination. All right, and there you go. We got the final path design. I'm just gonna replicate this all throughout the area, connect up all the new things that we just built. And I think instead of showing the entire process of doing this, I'm just gonna bring you guys back once I have shaders on. When I first started this project, it was day 659, and the starter area looked like this. You know, we did a lot in this area up until this point. We built a massive tree, built a whole bunch of other buildings, but it didn't feel completely done to me yet. And then about 100 days later, on day 754, this is what the new starter area looks like. I'm a huge fan of how all the new additions turned out. I really like the quarry. That's one of my favorite builds that I added in this episode. I think it actually looks really nice with the crane pulling up the materials. The custom trees just sprinkled around look really cool as well. We have a nice church now. All the paths connect up as they should. And we have a little neighborhood, you know, of the people who work in the barn and the farms and the quarries, all that fun stuff. There's some lore definitely to be had there. But I really hope you guys ended up enjoying this video. I really enjoyed this transformation myself. We kind of need a name for this village or this town, whatever you want to call it. We need a name for it. I don't really know what it should be called, so maybe leave some suggestions down below, and I'll take one next episode. I really do appreciate all the kind feedback lately on the videos. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much one final time for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Now, Dark Prismarine, right? It might just be my favorite block in all of Minecraft. The only problem with it is that it is incredibly annoying to get. In order to make one Dark Prismarine block, you need 8 Prismarine shards and 1 piece of black dye. Now the black dye, obviously very simple to get, but the Prismarine shards, in order to get those, you need to kill these guys, who are super annoying and only spawn underwater in ocean monuments. I have a future project in mind where I want to use a lot of Dark Prismarine. So to prepare for that, and just to have access to it right now, I guess, I'm going to be making ENX04's Guardian Farm. The link to the video will be down in the description below. It is an incredible Guardian Farm, really not that hard to make. You get so much stuff. You also get a ton of experience. Now the thing with this farm is that the kill chamber is suspended very high into the air. So in order to conceal that, I'm going to be making some sky islands, some floating islands. I've always wanted to make a floating island, and I feel like this is a really good opportunity to do so. So hopefully everything goes well. Let's get started with the episode. I currently have a whopping 27 scaffolding in this world right now, and if I'm going to build a floating island and a guardian farm, I'm going to need way more than that. So to start this video, I'm going to fly over to a jungle biome, try to find a bamboo jungle, and just go crazy with my sword. And probably just fill up like a shulker or something like that. And then maybe we can hit up like a mine shaft somewhere and load up on a whole bunch of string, because I also don't have many of that. But before we actually go out and fly anywhere, let me show off the church, because I said last time I was going to do the interior of the church between episodes, and I did just that. It's nothing crazy, nothing spectacular, but I think it fits the church vibe. It's nice and like kind of overgrown a little bit, looking pretty cool. And then you can also use this ladder and go all the way up to the top. There's nothing really up here, but you at least get, you know, a decent view of our little compound. Also last time, I asked you guys to potentially name this place. Give me some name suggestions for the town, for the city, that we kind of made, you know, throughout the series so far, but mainly last episode. We spent a lot of time here last time detailing all these custom trees, detailing the pathways, adding that church, adding this neighborhood, adding the quarry over here. So we kind of have like a nice complete settlement now. And I asked you guys for some names, and the name I'm going to kind of choose is Shramyland, but I'm going to actually shorten it. It's going to be Shramland. So that'll be the name of our starter compound here. Welcome to Shramland. But thank you guys so much for suggesting the other names. Maybe I will use them in a future build. This should be good enough for now. Let's make our way down here, and let's start going crazy. Now, something else I want to say before I keep forgetting, because honestly I just continuously forget to say this at the start of every episode. I will be providing a world download for this world if you'd like to play on it yourselves and kind of check out what we've built. I'm going to provide that either when I die or at 1,000 days, just whatever comes first. We are currently on day 760. So hopefully we get to 1,000 in a little while, and I'm, obviously very much hoping that I don't die before then. And that might have been the easiest shulker box I have ever collected. I knew this was going to be fast, but I didn't expect it to be that fast, I guess. Now, after just healing up my tools a little bit in the end, let's head back home, and then we can go look for a mine shaft, because I actually don't know where one is off the top of my head. I somehow had no idea that this massive cave was kind of under my mountain, but this is pretty cool down here. Might have to build something here one day. But yeah, anyway, let's just kind of, look for a mine shaft. Hopefully I can find one just deep underground here. Hey, we actually got one over here. Sweet. That did not take that long. And this is exactly what I was looking for. Found myself one of the poison spider spawners, got rid of it, and now let's clear out all of the string here. And not gonna lie, I thought that was going to be more string, so let's see if we can find another spawner. Well, I can't seem to find another spider spawner, so I'm gonna bring all this string back with me, and we're gonna see how much this gets. Yeah, so the farm I'm building calls for just over 5 stacks of scaffolding, so this is more than enough. We also have 3 and a bit stacks extra, which is really nice, because I'm gonna use this to make the floating island. Let's fill these 2 shulker boxes here with all the materials I'm going to need. I was able to get most of the materials just from, the stuff I already have just in my storage room, but there's a couple things that I still have to go get. I have to collect a couple more stacks of sand to get more glass. I need all of the soul sand as well, so I'll have to take a trip to the Nether. I need the obsidian because I need roughly 2 stacks of obsidian for this. And then we also have to head off to a swamp because I need some sticky pistons and a slime block. I do believe, though, I have everything else aside from those things I just mentioned. So let's start collecting the rest of those materials. I'm gonna head off into this nether portal once again. This is the one I accessed to go to the jungle earlier. So we are now back in the Badlands biome, and I think there's a desert over here. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's go collect a bit more sand. We got all the sand we needed and then some. And while we're out here in the overworld, I'm gonna fly around for a little while and see if I can find a swamp. We found Shrek's homeland, so let's hang out here for a little while, and then we can fight off some slimes when it becomes nighttime. Alright, what the hell is going on with this biome? Excuse me? Is my world okay? My game is lagging. My computer can't even handle what's going on right now. What is this? If anyone's curious, if you're playing on this world and want to come to this exact spot for whatever reason, yeah, here are the coordinates. Wait, is that a mob spawner over here? I was just messing around, jumping around, like kind of zooming in random places, and I see this cobblestone here. That is a spawner. Alright. I could have actually really used you, spider spawner. Now, sadly, it's not a full moon. I'm pretty sure the fuller the moon, the more slimes that spawn, and we have pretty much an empty moon. All right, just a little bit of a crescent up there. I'm gonna keep flying around, though. Hopefully, we can find a couple slimes. I really don't need much. Hey, we got a little boy. What's up, slime friend? I found one. And we also got some frogs. Oh, what's up, little guys? I feel like I haven't seen frogs in forever in this world. I'll have to breed up some frogs eventually. You guys look so cool. Look at them go. Dude, the world generation over here is just completely drunk. What is going on? Look at this tree. That tree has 3 different leaves on it. Well, I understand they're all the same leaf, but it's in like 3 biomes, so they look actually kind of cool. I'm digging that tree. It's a good tree. Hey, we got a big boy down here. Sweet. Hopefully this is enough then. I think 16 should be enough. We should be able to make 1 slime block with that, and then at least 2 sticky pistons. So that's nice. We got the sand smelting over here. I got the sticky pistons and the slime block. Now let's head back to the Nether, where we can go ahead and collect some soul sand. We got ourselves a nice looking soul sand valley right here. Got a whole bunch of soul sand for me to steal. So let's snag this up. I wanted to actually loot a bastion too, but I didn't really see one along the way. There is a bastion back that way, but I've already looted it. I just really want to get pig step, dude. It's been too long, man. And in like no time at all, we have enough soul sand. Does not take long to get a couple stacks when you have a netherite efficiency 5 shovel. And one more final thing we have to grab is all the obsidian. So let's go head up the end. Now that we have the obsidian, the only thing left to do is just wait for the sand to be smelted. And while this is smelting down, I'm gonna go ahead and brew up some very important potions. Now, I've actually never gone through an ocean monument before, if I'm being completely honest. But from what I understand, it's really important to have a potion of invisibility so you can't be seen and just ambushed. A night vision potion is also useful, but with the mod I have where I can kind of just increase my gamma to 1500%, I don't think I'm gonna need one. And then the last potion I'm gonna need is water breathing, which we actually have 12 minutes of already in this chest. So I feel like this should probably be enough time. Do I really not have any brown mushrooms? All right, give me a minute. I'm just gonna go to the Nether. They spawn on the Nether roof. Ow. I feel bad for my character in this game. He 100% has CTE to some capacity. I hit my face on the nether portal tree all the time. The poor Yi dinosaur thing is just struggling. Oh, now he just broke his ankles. I'm so sorry, my guy. All right, 13 mushrooms should be plenty because we just need to make fermented spider eyes, and I think I only need a couple. We got all the potions that I think I'm going to need right here. So we got our invisibility potions. I got 6 of those. Then we got 4 water-breathing potions. And I actually just extended the time of the water-breathing potions, so instead of 12 minutes, we have 32 minutes. So that's really nice, and of course then we have 48 minutes of invisibility. So that should be more than enough time to clear out the Elder Guardians in the Ocean Monument. And then I think it's about time that we grab all the materials we're going to need, and we head off and try to find an Ocean Monument that I want to actually use for this. Leave a like on the video for this guy right here. Look at him go. He would really appreciate it if you liked the video and maybe subscribed. I don't know, but he's just a little man doing his thing. Love this guy. So at this point, I decided that I wanted to go get a trident. But after searching for like an hour and killing a whole bunch of drowned, I decided I no longer want a trident. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to do this without one. But as I was looking for like the underwater ruins and stuff like that to find a trident, I found this ocean monument, which seems perfect for me. All right, I think I'm ready. I got my inventory all sorted out. I got 3 potions of invisibility and 3 potions of water breathing. Now, honestly, I'm not sure if I have to take off all my armor and stuff in order to be truly invisible, but we're going to try to test that out just on like the outskirts of the ocean monument. I think I should be good to do that. So let me drink 1 of each of these, and let me see. Can I be targeted by the Guardians? Yes, I can. Okay, I can be targeted by the Guardians. Now can I be targeted by the Guardians? No, I cannot. All right, we should be good. All right, so let's go inside this way. I do have mining fatigue, which is a little bit annoying, so I can't actually break myself in. And I'm assuming you don't have to break your way into the Elder Guardian rooms, right? Because that would be really annoying, considering I do have the mining fatigue, and I don't really want to wait. I'm just going to keep kind of swimming around and see what I can find. Here's an Elder Guardian. Okay. I think there are 3 of these. That was pretty simple. He also could not see me, so that was nice. Another Elder Guardian right here. Thank you very much for that. And now just 1 left, and I think we should be okay to start building this farm. And I think that's the last one. I hope that's the last one. Alright, I believe this is all cleared out now. I would like to make sure that all of the Elder Guardians are gone, so I'm going to kind of swim around for a little bit and see if I get mining fatigue again. Alright, I am not getting any mining fatigue, so I think I'm good. I'm going to set up shop on this little sand beach. I think this is actually the closest, like, bit of land to this ocean monument. This one's very much in the ocean, which is really nice. A floating island here is going to look sick. Alright, we are all set up over here with the shulker boxes we're going to need, so let's go ahead and start building this farm. Alright, so as you can see, the farm is up and fully functional. So if I swipe these guys, they should all die in 1 hit. And now if we just wait a couple more seconds, a new wave will start coming through the portal. This thing is actually insane. It's one of the most ridiculous experience farms I've ever seen, and you also get so many materials. I've just been here for a little while, just swiping away every so often, and I have a lot of stuff already. It does not take long to pretty much fill up a double chest with the materials that Guardians drop. Now, we will be making like a building around this thing on top of the floating island, so I should be able to access all these chests a lot easier. But even still, if you just wanted to build it like very bare bones without any kind of build around it, it's still quite functional with, you know, what you can reach and whatnot. There's also a very simple way of making this where you only get the materials and you don't get the experience. You just kill them in the nether with soulfire campfires. It's pretty simple to set up as well. But I don't mind having the experience here too. This actually heals everything up so much faster than my Enderman farm, so we might as well use this from here on out. This thing is insane, and it really doesn't even take that long or that many materials to build. I highly recommend building one of these if you want to either build with Prismarine or if you just want a busted experience farm. Anyway though, let's go and gather up a whole bunch of materials to start building this floating island. We're back home now, so let's start loading up some shulker boxes on some of the materials that we're going to use. And actually, it's probably more wise to go to the quarry to get all this stuff, because at least the stone stuff, because I have so much stone in that quarry. But I suppose while we're here, let's grab some dirt and some grass and stuff, and we can fill up an entire shulker with that. I also just threw some scaffolding in another shulker because we're going to need a bunch of scaffolding for sure. Let's just get one full shulker of dirt. I do at least need a little bit of grass because I need some grass on the top of the floating island. So I'm just going to take all the grass I have as well. Why not? Or maybe not all of it, but at least a shulker block's full. All right, 2 shulkers of dirt and grass and stuff. That should probably be enough. I really hope it is. And then we're probably going to fill like the rest of these up with stone blocks. Now, the thing is, how much tuff do I have? Oh, not much at all. Might have to go collect some of this. I don't know if I'm actually going to use these, but I'm going to bring all these dead coral blocks because they kind of fit the color scheme, right? And they kind of look cool. Just a little bit of a different texture on there. And then we're going to need some things to hang down. So leaves, obviously. I might just get an entire shulker of leaves. Yeah, let's probably do that. We got some birch leaves, some oak leaves I'm going to bring, and then also a few of these mangrove roots. I might try to work these in, you know, every so often. I would also like some glow berries, because we can definitely hang those off the sides. That'll be a good light source, and it'll probably look pretty cool as well. Let's grab some bone meal to go with that. This is just going to be a whole bunch of materials, man. But I think once we fill up, like, a shulker or two of, like, stone blocks, then we're probably good to head back and just start throwing down some of these blocks and figuring out how big the islands are going to be and, you know, where exactly they're going to go. So I got 2 more shulkers, so give me all the stone here. Then the thing is, I'm going to need some andesite, but I guess I'll just throw it in wherever I can. It actually fits into this shulker pretty perfectly, so I'll take that for sure. And let's head back to the Guardian farm and actually start throwing down some blocks. I'm thinking we have, like, the surface layer of the island up here, about halfway up this really long chute. Kind of just realized how phallic this thing could kind of look. Nice rocket ship, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I think about halfway up is where we can have the surface of the island. And now I just kind of have to, like, configure a shape around this thing. Don't want to make it, like, too perfectly circular, because that'll look kind of weird. So let me just kind of place a whole bunch of dirt and see what we end up with. I feel like that's a pretty good shape. It's not absolutely massive, but I also don't think it's too small. So I guess from here, we should try to figure out where the bottom of this is going to be. And that's why I left all this scaffolding here. I didn't want to take this down yet because I figured it'd be really useful when making this thing. All right, what if it comes down to a point like this and we kind of just connect up the sides? Is that going to look weird? It might be too tall if we do it like this. Yeah, I think that's going to be way too tall. All right, so let's shorten this up. Let's kind of go a little bit beneath the farm. I think I went too far down here. Let me kind of make like a weird spider web looking thing, just connecting all the way back up to the top. All right, buddy. You want to not do that? Bro, all right, I'm looking at you. I saw you do that. Do you want to not take that block? I know you're pissed, but listen, I think I'm the one who should be upset here, okay? Now that that distraction's over, quick update. I kind of just connected everything up to the top. I think I'm going to trim off this section a little bit more because it looks kind of weird right now. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. It's not as, like, weirdly, like, long on this side. All right, I'll take that. That's a good shape at least. And now, let me definitely go grab all the dirt I just got rid of because there's a lot down here. And I definitely just now realized that I forgot some very important blocks. I definitely need some mossy blocks because that's going to be near the bottom. We're going to have some mossy stone. That's probably where the tuff is going to go too. And then it'll transition into the cobblestone and then into the stone and the andesite. That's going to be like the top layer-ish. The top layer of the stone blocks at least. That'll then transition into the dirt. We got some mossy blocks and we also got some tuff. So I'm going to kind of replicate this pattern here around the bottom, like, third maybe of the island. And we're going to see what it looks like. I did about half of this section that's going to be this color palette, and I've run out of tuff, so I have to go mine some more. But this is the idea. Just a nice mixture of these blocks, but I do need a little bit more tuff, so I suppose we should just go mine some. So I've gathered up an entire shulker box of tuff, so we should have enough for this island and hopefully the other few that I'm going to make. But let's go ahead and actually just put in all of, like, the walls, I guess if you want to think of it that way, of this island, and then I'll be back with an update. Alright, so we got ourselves a nice shape. We got a floating island for the most part. There's a few more things I want to add, like, underneath here. But before I do that, let's put on the top layer of dirt. I haven't filled, like, any of this in yet, so let's just go through with all this grass. And let's get a nice flat surface up here. I also threw down a bunch of torches just so, you know, nothing spawns. And now, hopefully in here, it is also light enough so nothing will spawn. I'm pretty sure we should be good down here as well. I still want to use a bit more grass though, and I want to try to like hang some grass over the edge. I think this will be a nice effect when we look at it from the sides. Yeah, something like that at the top. I think it looks a little bit more natural that way. Now let's move back up to the top. I want to throw a few like mounds up here. I don't want this to be completely flat. Looks a little boring that way, I think. Just something really simple like this, just so there is a tad bit of like height difference up here. Let me throw like 2 more of these little hills around here, and I actually do need to go grab more dirt. We have like an entire shulker of dirt down here. All right, so now we have some height variation up here. Looking a little bit better in my opinion. Next up then, I want to do the really annoying task of putting stuff underneath the floating island. I'm just gonna throw these glow berries and these different types of leaves all around the place, and we're gonna see what it looks like. All right, it's not much, but I definitely think it helps at the bottom. It gives a lot of life down there, which is exactly what I was going for. One more feature I would like to have on some of the sides is I want some water flowing down. Yeah, just like that. All right, I think this is looking pretty good then. I think that is going to be like the final little bit of decoration we add to like the bottom and the sides of the island. Before we start actually working on the top and like the buildings up here, I want to build the next few islands. They are going to be much smaller than this one, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. Alright, so all 3 of the smaller islands have been built. I really don't know what's going to go on these islands, but I think it's just going to look cool, you know, from the ground, if we have 4 islands up here instead of just one big one. But now we can start working on the actual building that's going to go up here. So let me go gather a bunch of materials for that, and I'll be right back. I quickly went back home just to empty out all the shulker boxes and to fill them back up with stuff I was going to use for this build. I actually didn't have to go collect anything right now. I'm hoping I don't actually have to at all for this build in total. I'm not expecting it to be absolutely massive, so we should have enough stuff. We'll see though. But anyway, I got a whole bunch of like wood types. We got some spruce wood, we got some oak wood, we got a bunch of deep slate stuff, we got some cobblestone, some tuff, some andesite. That was kind of just left over from what we were using to make you know, the actual islands. We got some dark prismarine and some regular prismarine. I don't really have that much dark prismarine because it's a bit expensive to make that stuff. I had like a stack and a half of black dye in my storage room back when I did like the Halloween episode because I needed all the black concrete and stuff. So I used the rest of my black dye to make all the dark prismarine I could, but I'm gonna see how far like roughly a stack and a half gets me. That's kind of just gonna be for the roof. My idea is that I'm gonna kind of make this into like a wizard tower sort of thing. I wasn't sure what kind of tower I wanted to go for, so I kind of just went on Google and I looked up like Minecraft tower designs, and I was scouring through a little while and I found this one, and I really like the shape of it. I like what it looks like, and I'm gonna try to use this as my inspiration, put my own twist on it of course, but I think we're gonna kind of go with this. The walls of the tower are going to be out of like the stone blocks, the cobblestone, mossy stone, tough, all that fun stuff. The accents will probably be with the spruce wood, and then the roof is going to be out of the prismarine blocks. Anyway though, let's get building. Alright, so a little update. We got the roof in. Yeah, I know, that one spot right there, like the tip of the roof on the left, it's not symmetrical with the rest. But don't worry, okay? I noticed it eventually and it gets fixed. And I'm really liking what this looks like, so I changed it up a little bit from what I was saying. Instead of making the whole thing like the prismarine blocks, I added a spruce trim, and then we just put in a gradient at the top. And I really like how this turned out. Gotta be honest, I saw Flip do this once recently, and that's what changed my mind. He used like this exact same gradient, and I think it's just wonderful looking. And as for the front here, I added some spruce and put in a design. And I think I'm liking it. It's kind of tough. It looks really awkward at the top, just with like the little like stone brick bits sticking out. But I think this section right here with, you know, the oak wood and the stripped spruce kind of ties it all together really nicely. I feel like once we replicate that all the way around, it'll look much more cohesive. But I need a lot more spruce wood in order to do this all the way around, so let's go gather that. The spruce wood has been acquired, so let's continue building. hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. The tower is now done, at least on the outside. I don't know if I'm gonna do the interior. I probably won't, but I think it's looking pretty snazzy. Got a whole bunch of green blocks and some windows and stuff all up and down the walls. I think it's looking pretty cool. The last thing I want to do in this episode is kind of just like bone meal up all the grass around here. Maybe make a couple like flower fields. I brought some flowers in one of these shulker boxes. I think I could probably make a flower field on each of the smaller islands. Just one for each of the 2 tall flowers here that I have. And then I kind of figured I would just bone meal the rest of the grass. I don't have any other crazy plans for the islands. I think just making the, the ground look a little bit nicer with bone meal should probably be good enough. I'm going to throw down some of the flower fields then, and what I think I'm going to do for the border is I'm going to work some of this prismarine in here, and then also just some birch leaves. I think that'll look kind of nice. I think this is definitely looking solid. Let's throw some lanterns on the sides. And then we can actually plant some flowers. Let's do rose bushes in this one. Why not? Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good in here. We have a lantern in the middle, a bunch on the outside to hopefully keep this lit up enough so nothing spawns, and just a nice little rose garden. I suppose I can probably bone meal the rest to get some taller grass in here too. That'll probably look pretty good. And let's continue that on the outside here as well. It's really simple, but I think it looks nice. This island over here, gonna do the same kind of design on the outside with the prismarine walls and the birch leaves. Actually, I have to make a quick stop into the farm to get some more prismarine walls. Hopefully I don't have to turn it on, because I don't have the obsidian on me to turn back on those portals. I didn't have to turn it back on. We got a little bit more prismarine here. This should be enough to finish off these islands. I'm gonna make this one over here lilacs, and the final one will be the peonies. All 3 of the surrounding islands are now done. Looking pretty good in my opinion. Let's work on the main one now. My plan is to get rid of all the torches, so I'm just gonna throw down some walls and maybe some like oak fences every once in a while and just put a torch on top. I don't want to do anything too crazy. I'm gonna throw some like random bushes around here too, just to give it some more life, and maybe some flowers, and then we'll bone meal everything. Alright, so I put on the final details of the island, and we are completely finished with this project. I really like how this turned out. I really wasn't too sure about the tower as I was building it, but I think it looked really nice. I thought the shape was a little bit too weird, honestly. I didn't think I'd be able to pull it off, but I feel like I did quite well. I really like the vibe these floating islands are giving off. It's very magical in my opinion. I think it's a pretty sweet build, and it's also very useful, man. This farm is incredible in terms of experience, and also just in terms of the loot. The blocks you get from this are so nice. I'm going to be using a lot of these blocks in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Now, I think we can pretty much all agree that Minecraft Villages could use an update. A couple episodes ago, I started a project where I wanted to make a village for every biome in Minecraft that doesn't already have a village. And in that episode, we tackled the birch and the dark oak villages, and I think they turned out pretty well. And here today, I will be tackling the cave village. Now, full disclosure, I wanted to do the ocean village as well in the same episode, but I kind of spent more time than I expected on the cave village, so we're just gonna have this one for today. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get started. Don't mind the arrows in my face, alright? I promise that I'm okay. We're living still. We got good old Squidward in my offhand to keep me alive. And, a little while ago, I stumbled across this massive cave underneath my base. That was rude. Alright, hold on. Do you want to not? Okay, I keep hitting the wrong button, and I gave him my sword and my pickaxe. I haven't played Minecraft in a couple of days, okay? I'm a little rusty. Anyway, I found this cave a little while ago, and I think this would be perfect for the village I have in mind. The thing is, though, now we just have to light everything up. It's probably going to take a lot of torches, but let me take the little bit that I have and spam them all across this area, and hopefully we can get it to be mob-proof pretty soon. Next up, then, let's go grab all the materials we are going to need. Now, I'm unsure exactly what these buildings are going to look like. I will probably figure that out as I am building them. But I do have a relative color scheme in my head. So I think I want the walls, at least of the first floor of these buildings, to be out of granite and bricks and polished granite. We'll get a nice combination of these blocks going. And then the upper floors, we're gonna have a bunch of different like colorful blocks. So I have a bunch of terracotta here in these 2 shulker boxes. I'm gonna make about half of this into lime terracotta and then the rest into purple terracotta, which we actually still have a little bit left over, which is nice. We'll be using both of those colors, and then we will also be breaking in some white blocks, like some polished diorite and some calcite. That'll look good, I think. And then the last color I thought of that'll look nice, at least I think right now, maybe once I put it down, I'll completely change my mind, is yellow. And we're gonna kind of get the yellow effect with some concrete, with some wool, and then with some concrete powder. I really want to give this cave a lot more life, so that's why I want to bring in a bunch of colors, and I also will probably end up bringing in a whole bunch of moss and making parts of the cave like lush caves. I think that'll look really cool. Anyway, though, we now have to go on a quest to get a bunch of dyes. So we're gonna need a bunch of lime green dye, which I feel like the easiest way to get that is to go get a whole bunch of cactuses, or cacti. All right, listen, I know the plural. Don't comment, please. We have to go get a whole bunch of cacti, and then I have a bunch of bones lying around. I think you combine those, you get the white dye, the green dye, bada boom, bada bing, color theory, you get lime dye. We will also have to go punch in a whole bunch of flowers, because I'm gonna need some yellow dye and some blue dye. We have a little bit of blue dye in this chest here, but I'm definitely going to need more. I will combine that with the red dye, which I have somewhere. Yeah, combine these two together, get purple dye, make purple terracotta. You know how it goes. So let's go punch a whole bunch of vegetation after I take a nap. I forgot you have to smelt the cactus too. You don't just get it from the cactus. Now I have to use fuel. Too many things, man. Too many things going into this one village that won't really ever be useful, but it should look good. This is actually super convenient that I just found this, because I need a lot of gravel too. So we got a full shulker box here of sand and gravel, approximately split down the middle. Hopefully that's good enough for a little while. Now let's just go punch some more cactus. Alright, I got myself 2 stacks of cactus. I hope this is enough. I really don't think I'm gonna need that much lime dye. But let's head back home, and on the way, let's go punch a whole bunch of flowers. You guys are not ready for this. Watch this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. First try. And alright, we are returning home now with all of the flowers and the sand and stuff that we're gonna need. Let me clear out my inventory a little bit though and get stuff more organized. I think we have everything ready to begin building. I just crafted up all of the colorful blocks that we're going to use. Let me kind of just go through all the different shulker boxes here. So this one has all of the white blocks in it. So we have white concrete powder, we have some white wool, some calcite, some birch. I might throw some diorite in here as well, but I don't know if I want that many white blocks together. We'll kind of see. This shulker box just has a whole bunch of yellow concrete powder in it and some yellow wool. And then I think some of this concrete powder we're going to make into just yellow concrete. So then it'll be yellow concrete powder, yellow concrete, and then yellow wool. We only have a little bit of yellow wool, but that's honestly probably enough. I don't really imagine like the second floor of these buildings being that big. So yeah, this is certainly overkill. We have way too many materials for this, but I kind of wanted just to get a whole bunch just in case I ever need these blocks again. This is kind of just leftovers. Like these aren't going to be necessarily used for anything unless I really need them. And then this shulker box here has a bunch of purple terracotta, also a bunch of lime terracotta. And I am forgetting some very important blocks that I just now realized. Oh, I have some. Let's go. I really hope this is enough, but I forgot I needed the crimson stuff to go with the purple terracotta. But let's gather up all these shulker boxes here, and let's head down to the cave. These guys all just hit a suicide shot on me, man. What the hell? I think I'm watching a FaZe Ilcams episode from back in the day. That was crazy. We do have a layout here of where the buildings are going to go. It's very much just a rough sketch at the moment. And I might even add in a couple more buildings if I make these kind of small, because I think I certainly have enough materials to do so. But this is kind of the idea, right? So this bigger one in the back is going to be like the main smeltery area. So that'll be the main attraction of the village, and then we're just gonna have a couple houses on either side surrounding this thing. We'll probably have like a nice walkway going around here too. And I do kind of want to make it more secure so mobs can't just walk up there. So maybe I make it a couple blocks high, add some fence gates, all that fun stuff. Maybe just some regular walls too. We'll make it look good. Hopefully. At least, you know, good from my standards. But I do want to begin here by carving away at some of these pillars, at least this main one in the middle. I might put it back, but just for now, I don't really like it here. I think I want to start off with the pathway that's going to go around this whole thing, just so I know exactly how far these buildings can come out of the walls. I got some spruce blocks, so let's kind of start with these. And I'm going to kind of run these slabs just in like a semicircle until we get to around here, maybe? Then we can kind of get a better sense of scale, and we'll also know how much room we have in the middle here to make it look all nice. That's probably where like the lush part's gonna come in. That's probably where most of the moss is going to be, kind of in this middle section here. I also do really like this like stalagmite looking thing, but I do think this has to go for now too. I will probably put this one back, maybe just more in the middle. It's just sort of in the way of the path here. So it's looking a little weird right now because it's just these spruce slabs kind of like floating. But we do have a pathway now, kind of connecting everything. Over here is still a little bit awkward, but I will definitely fix this. I'll probably just bump this building out so it meets the pathway. Same thing here. I'll probably have to drop it down a little bit and then bump it out. But obviously, this is not just going to be floating spruce. So, let me grab some deep slate blocks. Got some deep slate bricks and some cobbled deep slate. I'm gonna follow the path one block over with cobbled deep slate on the bottom. And then on top of all of this cobbled deep slate, we're gonna throw some deep slate bricks. Yeah, alright, so then it's gonna look like this, which is kind of cool looking in my opinion. And then we're going to do some kind of like railing design up here. So let me kind of figure out what I want to do. I'm not even really sure what I did. I kind of just threw in a bunch of walls and some fence gates and some fences. I don't really know. I think it looks all right for now. I also think I want to continue this deep slate trim around this side of the pathway too. I think it'll look really nice if I do this all the way around. I do not know what kind of railing I want to have on the left side, if there is a railing there at all. It might just only be on the right. So for now, I'm going to leave this kind of blank just like this. But I think it looks pretty cool right now. I think it'll look a lot better once we get the buildings in, and also once I throw some lanterns down. But for now, looking pretty sick. I do want to work on one of the buildings now, and I think it's going to be the building that is over here. So let's clear out this tuff, and let's throw down some blocks. I'm also going to structure this video a little bit differently. Now, normally I would just time-lapse pretty much everything. That's kind of what I've been doing. But with this village here, I think I'm going to build this one kind of along with you guys. I'm not going to make it super long and drawn out like I would in like a tutorial or anything like that. But I kind of just wanted to know if you guys would like me to do this more in the future, where some of the builds are way more hands-on, some of them are time lapses, or if you would rather that I just time lapse everything like I have been doing. Now I think this is probably a good size for these buildings here. Not too big, not too small. We're going to have a second floor for sure. And that is where like the lime terracotta and the green wool is going to come in, at least for this building in particular. And I forgot my scaffolding, so we're just going to have to use blocks to pillar up, but it should be okay. But for the first floor, we're going to do the same design that I literally always do all the time, with the spruce stairs and trapdoor. Looks really nice as an archway. And now let's start trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the second floor. This is where it's going to get interesting. I'm going to bring the second floor out a block. I think that'll look pretty cool. Let's get our spruce logs again and build these up. Probably 4 more. Strip these bad boys all down, of course. And then back here is where all the lime terracotta is going to come into play. And then green wool, of course. Can't forget about that. And that's looking pretty good, I think. I think once we get all these colors everywhere, it's going to look a lot better. All right, did you not see this? Look it, okay? This is what's going to happen to you. Do you want to have a change of heart here, pal? Clearly does not want to have a change of heart, all right? Let's just keep adding to the pile, all right? Maybe eventually they'll get intimidated. So I definitely don't just like the slab roof. How do I want to change this? I have one idea. I have no idea if this is going to look good or not, but let's try it. All right, so what about that? It's better, but as I was putting that together, I kind of had an idea. So my original thought for this village was I was going to have a whole bunch of just completely disconnected buildings, but I think it would be a lot better if instead we kind of just make this one really big connected building, and we only really differentiate between the houses with the colors at the top. I think that would actually be really sweet. So let me kind of just lay out the first floor of what I'm thinking of. All right, so that's not looking too bad right now. Kind of just have to figure out the second floors from here, but it's looking pretty cool, I think. I think what we do is make the second floor of this section still green, and then we work on maybe yellow over here. I definitely think that'll look good, so let's see if we can figure out how the hell I am going to do the second floor up here. Okay, that's looking more interesting now. So let's transition the second floor in this area into yellow blocks. Dude, all these axolotls ever do is just get stuck. My man was struggling down there for a while. Did the rest of them die? No, look, you're stuck too, I think. How are you guys all stuck? It's just a sea pickle. Like, figure it out. All right, so I didn't throw the roof up there yet, but I'm kind of liking this vibe. Looks a little weird over here, but we'll fix that. That's not a big deal. Again, that's a future Shram problem, you know? Me, I live in the moment. Current Shram, yeah, he's an idiot. Now, I don't know what the exact shape of the main, like, smelting building is going to be. So just for now, I'm going to fill this entire gap in with spruce slabs, just so I can put down spruce logs anywhere in this whole area. I'm also not going to work on this main building yet. I'm going to save that for last, but let me at least map out how long it's going to be, because I want this to be an odd number of blocks. There is a 13 block gap now between this pillar and the start of the pillar down there. They're also a little bit diagonal from each other, but that's what I wanted. I will figure out the rest of this building though once we finish over here. Let's work on the left side of the houses. I'm not sure if this is going to look good or not, but I'll do my best. All right, so I laid down a whole bunch of pillars here to kind of signify where the different like archways of the buildings are going to go. So let's start building these all up then. All right, so we got the layout all together, and now we just have to put in the walls and make it look all nice. So just like this side over here, gonna start on the bottom with some granite, work in some brick as well, of course, and then also work in some polished granite. Let's just continue working on this all the way across, and then we'll get into the second floor is where the colors are gonna get more interesting. Let's start with the purple blocks. So that's going to be the purple terracotta, the crimson planks, and the stripped crimson stem. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a little confusing to do, considering this side is way more like diagonal than this side. But we're making it work, okay? It might look a little awkward, but I think it's gonna look good in the end. And then we are going to transition into the white blocks. And I think, instead of using diorite, I think we're gonna use just the other blocks that I have. Because there's a lot of diorite in this cave, and I feel like it'll blend in a little bit too much. So I'm going to use just the other white blocks, just so it's a little bit different. I also don't think I'm going to use any of the white wool. I just feel like that's too many blocks in a very small area. And now that we have all of the walls in, let's do the trapdoor and stair design that we have everywhere else. And now I would kind of like to figure out the roof. I think for both sides, I want to figure out the complete roof. We already kind of started right over here with the roof, but I didn't do that much of it. I just want to point something out before I start talking about the roof on this half. I changed this slope right here. It used to be slabs, but I made it all stairs. Kind of just think it looks better that way. But I'm kind of replicating the same thing over here. We're just going to make this stairway go up until we hit this pillar here. But if I just put stairs straight up to the top, it comes up to this block, I think. Which won't really work because I want the roof for the next section to come like that. And that's going to look really weird with stairs right there. So instead what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slab our way up. And it's gonna look something like that. A little bit funky because this building is not completely straight here. But honestly, I'm all about the weirdness right now. I don't actually think this section in the middle really needs a roof. I feel like it's kind of fine the way it is. I do want to exchange out these blocks at the top though, because I don't really want diorite here. I feel like it'll blend too much in with the walls. I think what we should do instead is just kind of bring this down. Yeah, it looks pretty good in my opinion. I don't think we need a roofer right there. We might be honestly okay over here too. Let's see if I can kind of just bring down some stones. I'm fine not to have a roof there with the like white buildings. I believe all of the roofs are on. At least I hope so. If I missed anything, I guess maybe someone will point it out in the comments and I'll come back to it. I forgot that there's just a big hole though in the side of the building here. So I should probably go ahead and fill that in. And also, before I forget, I need to fill in the tops of all of the roofs, because I'm definitely going to forget to do that if I don't do it soon. Alright, I finished up this side of the building, and I also put a little bit more stone next to it, just to fill in the gaps a little bit better. But now, absolutely, before I forget, let's fill in the tops of all of the roofs. Alright, so I filled in the tops of the roofs with the respective colors. And also, this side over here is still completely empty. That's just because I don't know how much of the smeltery is going to block over here just yet. Whenever I figure that out, I will fill in the rest accordingly. But speaking of the smeltery building, let's go ahead and start building that. I think for the smeltery building back here, we're going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to keep this building mostly just a regular looking rectangle. But then over here, it's going to get a little bit more interesting just because I want it to connect up with the buildings over here. So if I kept this completely straight and made it a full rectangle, then we'd have a little bit of stone between these two, and I don't want that. So instead, we're going to have a bit of a diagonal over here, but I think it'll be fine. And before I do anything else, I actually do want to work on the roof, because I kind of want to figure out what that's going to look like. I think just stairs going up like this will look pretty cool. We can definitely continue the trend of the second floor here jutting out a little bit. But this second floor section is going to be a little bit wider than the rest. So normally this would have been 3 blocks in between, but now we have 5. And I kind of feel like just over here, I'm just going to drip down some more stone, because I really don't know how to work in the roof on that side, and I think that looks fine like this. Let's start working in the walls then. We're going to start the first floor the same as we have been. And then I think for the middle one here, I'm just going to keep it with the white theme, because I feel like we haven't really used much of that color in these builds. One final thing I have to touch up with the buildings before I start adding in a whole bunch of details is this side of the yellow building. It's completely empty still. But I also suppose we should probably figure out how we're going to get into each of these buildings. So I'll just kind of start plopping in doorways wherever I can. I gotta be honest, I'm really not sure what's going to go in any of these buildings, except for this one, where I'm actually going to put a super smelter. Might not do that today. We'll probably do that in the next episode. Quick little spoiler for next episode, I guess. I think I'm going to spend a lot of time working on interiors next time. I want to finish up a lot of the projects in this world that I've kind of left unfinished. So I feel like that's a good time to actually do the super smelter. Anyway, though, I really don't know what's going to go in these buildings in general. Might just decorate them at some point with a bunch of really random stuff just to make them look okay. But let's go ahead and throw on some doors. I've also just seen a few places where I've missed some stairs and some trapdoors. There are surely more. But if I see them, I'll try to fix them. And if I don't see them, and I don't say anything about it, you can point them out in the comments. Now, I have a whole bunch more exterior decoration to do, but I kind of don't want to bore you guys with this stuff. So instead, I'm just going to cut away until I am finished doing the exterior decoration with these homes. It's not going to be anything that I really haven't done before. We're just going to throw on a couple windows and probably some leaves falling off the roofs and stuff like that, just to give it a bit of life down here. So I'm going to go start working on that, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, we added a whole bunch more detail to the exterior of these buildings. Got a whole bunch of leaves going through, we got a whole bunch of windows, and inside the windows, I kind of just put some shroom lights. I don't know if I'm going to tackle the interiors today or not, but I just wanted some kind of extra lighting in here, so that when I turn off the gamma mod I have, it still looks pretty good. And those shroom lights work very well in that regard. But it's definitely coming along. There's still a few more things we have to get done with this village before I can conclude this episode. And the next thing I want to start working on is this central bit. I want to make this more into like a lush cave kind of like pond thing. I think I could do a pretty cool job. We could probably have a whole bunch of moss, a bunch of mossy blocks, probably some more leaves, some different kinds of greenery. I think it's going to look pretty cool down here. But my inventory is an absolute mess. So let me go ahead and clear out some shulker boxes, and we can gather some more materials. Got a couple stone variants, got some green blocks, and also some bone meal, because I feel like I want to bone meal some of these flowering azaleas, just to get some azalea trees down there. I feel like that'll look kind of nice. I guess to begin, let's get a good shape down for this pond. I'm going to use some cobblestone just to map out where I want it to go. I like this bit back here. I think that's actually a pretty good shape. This is just a little bit too awkward up here. All right, I definitely like this shape a lot more. Don't know what that just was, but that was a weird little glide. All right, anyway, let me get rid of all of this diorite, because I don't really want this being on the floor. All right, so we got this all filled with stone now. I'm gonna cut away a little bit more of this. Actually, I forgot 3 blocks. Hold on. My bad. Let me cut away a little bit more of this. And I think that's looking good for the shape. So let's go ahead and actually start throwing down the water. And there we go. We got a pond. So let's go ahead and start throwing around some of these green blocks. So I'm going to go around and bone meal a whole bunch of moss around here. Throw in some like mossy cobble, some tuff probably somewhere. And just decorate this to the best of my ability. And I think I'm going to do this through a time lapse. So I will be back once this central pond area is completed. At the start of the episode, this cave looked like this. What? And now it looks much better, in my opinion. We have a nice cave village down here, whole bunch of details in the pathways and stuff like that, a bunch of ores kind of just chilling around. Trying to imagine like they were just mined a little bit ago and they're just being stored here or something. We have a nice pond, a bit of a lush area to the cave, a couple trees. I think it is looking pretty cool. This is definitely one of my favorite builds that I've done in this world so far. And I feel like if I had a little bit more time, maybe I could have like extrapolated this to the entire cave down here. but it's been a very long time since I've posted a hardcore episode, so I really just wanted to get one out. And I am very comfortable with where this build is at. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Now, this is the Nether hub that I built in episode 9 of this series, and I really like how it turned out. I think this is the biggest overall building that I've ever made, and I think it actually looks really solid. But if you move on to the inside, what? It looks like absolute butt. Alright, there's nothing here. It's not even finished. Some spots have holes. It's usually filled with magma cubes and pigmen, whatever. It's just a mess. So today I'm going to be tackling the interior of this building. Now, this is a rather large interior, so I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to trying to get it completed. This isn't the sole thing that I end up doing in this episode, but this definitely takes up a very large portion of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoy. Also, really fast, a massive shout out to Guilty Ohio on Twitter. They made me these 2 amazing avatars to use in my videos and in my thumbnails, and I think they absolutely killed it. They look amazing. I will leave a link to their Twitter down in the description down below if you want to drop them a follow or anything like that. And they also said, when I asked them what I should shout out, they also just said maybe try to do something nice for someone today. All right, give some good vibes. So once again, a massive thank you to them. And now I'm going to cut myself off in the middle. Dude, the moment I started recording, my cat jumped on my desk. And she's just chilling. And every time I put her down, she comes right back up again. She likes the mouse. Let's see if I could get her to chase it here. Hold on. Yeah, you can see, she likes the mouse. And ever since she noticed it, she keeps jumping back on my desk. Come say hi to the camera. Oh, there she is. Okay, yep. Point of view, just got smushed by a cat. You know, not many of you guys know this, but I'm fluent in cat, and she definitely said to subscribe. She said if you do that, that would be the best. So, I mean, you could do it if you you can do it if you want. Why don't she look straight into the camera? You could do it if you want. But Annie wants you to, so, you know, you can't let her down. All right, but for real, I have to work, so please, I love you. But you gotta go. Fun fact about me, I'm actually allergic to cats. So there's definitely a really good chance that I'm going to be sniffly and maybe sneezing at some point in this recording. But you know what? They are definitely worth it. But the first thing I would like to do in this episode is I want to go ahead and outline the interior for the Nether hub building we built a few episodes back. I'm thinking we have a nice big central room here, and then we kind of just surround it with hallways and maybe some other random rooms. All right, I've mapped out nearly half of the first floor down here, so let me kind of walk you guys through what I'm thinking here. So from the main entrance, we're gonna have one connected hallway going all the way around, and then as you progress through the hallway, you get to one of the other exits, which I think is going to have its own little, like, entrance area as well. We're gonna do the same thing for the one down there too, but I haven't gotten there just yet. Then the middle is going to be completely hollowed out, and we're gonna have like a big, like, eating hall, something like that. I think it could look kind of nice. And of course, on this side of the wall here in the nether rack, we're gonna have some, you know, different doorways getting into the main eating area. I think this is the best way to tackle a build like this, to break it off into a whole bunch of different rooms. So let me continue laying out all the nether rack, and I'll be back whenever I'm finished. Alright, so it's kind of fully mapped out. It's not entirely symmetrical, but it's not a huge deal right now. I just wanted to make sure I got the right width of everything, like going all the way around. And I think I did that. We can work on the exact specifics of each room when we actually start building in here. But this is the idea, right? Here's the hallway going all the way around the first floor. This is the main, like, attraction, I guess, of this house. Now, after laying out the floor plan, I decided to go ahead and collect a whole bunch of materials. And while I'm collecting these materials, let me go ahead and explain the color palette that I want to use for this interior. Now, we're gonna have 2 different colors for the walls. One of the wall colors is going to be out of a bunch of red blocks, which very annoyingly includes mangrove wood. We're gonna have a gradient going from netherrack to mangrove planks, and then finally stripped mangrove logs. I think that'll look really cool. And then the other walls, I wanted to stick to the Nether theme, so we will be using the warped wood. So it's going to be like a teal blue colored wall. So we'll be using the warped planks, the stripped warped logs, and we will also be using like the warped leaves. I think they're called like warped wart blocks or something like that. I think those three together will also look really nice. It'll be a good contrast to the red colored walls. As for the floor then, we're just going to keep this very simple and make it out of stone and like other gray blocks in a nice just kind of like random pattern. Probably have some cobblestone, some smooth stone, and some stone bricks as well. As for the accent blocks, I want to use some darker colors, so I would like to use some deep slate. I think that'll be a fantastic contrast with both of the wall colors, so we can kind of have deep slate to frame out the walls, to have some pillars going across, some supporting beams, all that fun stuff. We should have plenty of stuff to get started here in these shulker boxes. So let's bring all these over to the Nether and let's start building. Let's begin here though with the floor. So let me grab a bunch of stone, some stone bricks, and some cobblestone. And I think I'm gonna make all these into slabs. I don't think there's any reason to actually have full blocks for this, but this is just a very easy block combination that looks really good together in my opinion. You can use these blocks as a gradient really easily, like starting from the bottom with cobblestone, going up to regular stone, throwing in some stone brick if you want just a basic gradient, or you can kind of just mash them all together and it still looks good. So we're taking the ladder approach here, not really doing any kind of design, just kind of throwing down random blotches of each of these. But it's definitely a good thing I am using slabs because this is going to take a lot of blocks.
Fast as fuck, boy. Still fast as fuck, boy.
I just now realized I never put glass in this window. All right, hopefully I remember to fix this. Guys, I think I just made like a magma cube farm by accident. In retrospect, I probably should have made this all at like a half slab level, but it's all right. We'll figure it out. Hopefully when I get all the decorations in, there aren't many spawning areas for these guys. All right, I'm pretty sure we got the entire floor covered. So let's put away all the stone stuff and we can move on to the walls. So we have one full layer of netherrack on the bottom. I'm just gonna go in and pepper in a little bit more netherrack here on the second layer. Maybe even the third as well. That might look okay, because I think these walls are gonna be sort of tall. You know, I just thought of something else. All right, I'm gonna try to take control over these stupid magma cubes. I have an idea. Pause the building for a second. Let me go get a friend. All right, we are back. Is this how you make one of these? I don't think it is. It's down here, maybe? Hold on. I don't remember. I haven't made an iron golem in a long time. Is it like that? It is. Go kill him. All right, I made 5 of these guys, okay? Just handle all of the magma cubes and you'll get paid handsomely. So I think I got all the netherrack down that I'm going to want to use. Let's transition now into mangrove planks. So after I threw in a layer of the mangrove, I think I realized that I do need more netherrack because I feel like this wall is going to be taller than I'm imagining. But now let's work in the stripped mangrove logs. So at this point with the planks, let me just kind of throw a couple more in sporadically. All right, and then from here, let's just throw in a whole bunch of stripped mangrove logs. I think this is looking kind of cool. There's just a couple more things I think I want to change. I want to put more netherrack in actually, because I think it looks a little bit weird with all the bits sticking out like this. So if we make like the first like 2 layers pretty much all out of netherrack, I think that'll help a lot. Yeah, I think that's looking way better now. You know, I actually just thought of a better idea. Hang on, this might take a little bit of time, but I feel like it'll be worth it. So let's completely pause this for a second. I'm gonna go get some frogs, because then I can kind of just grab some frog lights while I'm building here, because the frogs should be able to eat a couple of the magma cubes. Yeah, I didn't really actually realize how long it takes for tadpoles to grow up into frogs in this game. It takes like 20 minutes. I did not feel like waiting an hour to get each type of frog. So instead, I just got one type of frog, and this frog gives us yellow frog lights. I'm sure I'll eventually go back and just make a full frog light farm, but I figured just for now, this is a pretty easy way to get a handful of frog lights. All right, I believe all of the exits are now blocked off, so my man should be able just to freely roam around and kill some magma cubes. Let's see if it works. Go eat. I'm sure you're hungry. Take him down, little man. Let's go. We got some frog lights. There's a lot more for you to eat here, pal. You already made very quick work of those guys. Yes, that definitely was not like an hour-and-a-half long distraction. But let's continue building again. I was trying to mess around a little bit here just to figure out what kind of block combination I want to use. And I think I've settled on this. So we're going to have some of like the warped planks at the bottom layer. We're going to bleed that into this warped wart block, which I'm definitely going to have to get more of. And then at the top, we're going to cap it off with some stripped stem. So I severely underestimated how much warp stuff I would need. So let me hop back into the regular nether and let's go grab a lot more. I think I'm actually going to have to fill up this shulker box. I didn't completely fill up the shulker box, but we got a whole lot more blocks to place down. So let's see how far this gets us. So the walls are pretty much done. I think I want to make just a couple final tweaks. I want the stripped warp stem to come down a little bit further in some places. I think it'll just make the transition as a whole look a lot better. So let me go do this to a handful of places. And no, one of the golems died. Ah, you did well, my friend. How did you get here? What? Where did you spawn? But anyway, I think all of the, like, teal walls are in now. But now I think it's time to throw in some deep slate. So let's figure out which kinds of deep slate I want to use. I think bricks are a no-brainer. I think they're gonna look really good as, like, support pillars. So let's get a bunch of those, and then I'm thinking tiles as well. I think 2 kinds of deep slate will be good enough here. And then I think the design for these pillars is just going to be super simple. We just have some deep slate bricks leading into some deep slate tiles. There's 4 deep slate bricks here, 4 deep slate tiles there, and then in the middle here, there's 6 deep slate bricks, 2 deep slate tiles. I'm also gonna go around and throw some slabs and some stairs everywhere. So up top, we're definitely gonna round off the archway. I'll probably put a lantern there in the middle. So we'll do this all the way across, and we're also just gonna have some slabs and some stairs down here to kind of act as shelving. Not sure really what I'll put up here, but at least it gives me spots to put something. Now, before I moved on to like the warped wood section, I want to do something else. So let me take a full stack of mangrove logs. I'm gonna make this all into trapdoors because I want to use some frog lights that we've been kind of like passively getting, and some shroom lights to add a little bit of light in here. So what I'm gonna do is break out a piece of netherrack, put a shroom light, and then put trapdoors on either side. And we can kind of do this all over the place. The lighting is all in place, so now let's move on to the other side of the walls, and let's kind of copy the same design we did in the middle. Oh my god, I just popped the totem. Wow, that was actually the second totem pop I've ever had in this world. The first one I wasn't recording for, but I was flying down into one of my mines, and I just landed too hard. But I just got completely overran by magma cubes. And I think I'm out of totems. I have also not tried my raid farm since I built the Colosseum. So I'm not even sure if it's going to work. Like, I'm not even sure if the raiders will get stuck anywhere. But I guess let's give it a try. Alright, well, I got Bad Omen, so let's see if this works. Oh, I have 3 more totems down here. I don't even have to do this. This happened last time I did a raid. They are all stuck in this cave. And I really don't want to deal with this right now. So, I'm just not going to. I'm just gonna fly away, alright? I have 3 new totems. I think I only had 2 on me before this, like, since I made this farm, and I just now used the second one. So I should be good to rock with, like, 3 totems for a while. I'm just gonna leave. Guess that'll be a future Shram problem. Once again, we have the battle between current and future Shram. Current Shram, very lazy person. Future Shram has to deal with the consequences. But you know what? I'm focused on another build at the moment, okay? Really quickly, the floor might look a little bit different, and that's because I moved it all up by half a slab. I'm really tired of these magma cubes spawning all over the place. There are still spots for them to spawn, but I think a lot of those spots will be taken away once we put in the rest of the decoration for the walls. But I moved everything up to half slab, so now nothing can spawn on top of any of these blocks. In here, though, it's all still completely spawnable. I do have an iron golem kind of patrolling it, so I'm gonna kind of let him do his thing. I'll probably eventually move those up as well, but I just wanted to do the main stuff for now. I'm also pissed because, as you can see in the top right corner, I set up my beacon out here, hoping that I could insta-mine all of the slabs, but you can't, even with haste 2. A little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. It was still, I guess, a little bit faster than if I didn't have the beacon. But now let's continue working on the decoration for the rest of the walls. We will be doing the same exact design as we did for these walls, so let me just go ahead and get this all done. So as you can see here, I finished up all of the walls. I guess I shouldn't say all of the walls, because down here still isn't finished. The other exit, the main entrance, those aren't completely finished just yet. And we kind of just have the shelves on. I didn't put anything on the shelves just yet. But this is the idea. This is what it's going to look like when we're walking through the hallways. The main room also is not finished just yet, but I'll work on this when I'm completely finished with the hallways. Next up, I kind of want to work on like the ceiling in here. I think I want to make the ceiling for the hallways here out of like basalt. Maybe some variations of basalt in there. I also did not know that you can smelt down basalt. Just wanted to try this for a second to see what you get. Is this how you get smooth basalt? It is. Okay, so you can get smooth basalt other places than a geode. I did not know that. That's really good to know. I'm gonna bring these furnaces with me too, and we're gonna make some more smooth basalt. While I'm waiting for all the basalt to smelt, I'm gonna go ahead and outline the pillars for the main room. I was able to pretty much finish the main room here. We got a bunch of archways now on the walls, looking pretty nice in my opinion. And also all of the smooth basalt is done. So let's head up here and let's actually start placing this stuff down. I think we're just gonna kind of do just a combination of the two. It should look pretty good. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of the basalt in the ceiling, but I think I'm alright with it enough to keep it. The next thing I would like to do is I want to figure out the roof for the main section here. So let me go grab some spruce. I think spruce would look good in here. Alright, so I got a good amount of spruce wood. I only have a little bit in my inventory right now, but I think that's alright to get started. I just want to try to get a shape down for this roof in here. I'm kind of thinking we just bring some stairs all the way around upside down like this, and then maybe just continue to get a little bit taller level by level until we hit the middle, because I kind of want this to be a bit of a taller roof, but not super tall. I would like to have like a chandelier hanging from the top. I think that could look pretty cool. So after the stairs, let's throw in some slabs. After that, then I think we go up another layer of slabs, but I think we skip the corners. I think that'll make a cool little design on the inside. And maybe we do one more layer up, this time just with stairs though. And then to add a little bit more detail, I'm gonna throw in a layer of trapdoors, and then we just slab the middle on the inside. We should be able to hang some kind of lantern or chandelier from the top there pretty easily. Let me actually turn off my gamma mod because it looks a lot better like this now. All right, cool. Looking pretty good in my opinion. So everything should be completely covered now on the inside. All right, now that this area is completely covered in, let's shift focus once again, and let's start working on the entrance and maybe the two exits on the sides, because I think I'll probably do these in a similar style. So I went ahead and grabbed some dark oak wood from my storage room. I'm gonna use this as the pillars here. I'm gonna strip all of this down, and as well, I'm gonna break in a little bit of mangrove, just a regular looking mangrove. Much like how I like using the stripped spruce with the regular oak, I think it kind of gives the same effect. And then within the archways here, we're just gonna do the upside down stair and trapdoor design. Pretty much always looks good. Over here, I think we could just get away with the stairs. And just like that, the entrance is all covered up. Looking way better than before, that's for sure. I think I just want to put some carpet just to stop the spawning and to get rid of the bedrock texture. But I'll work on that in a second. Let's move on to the other two exits. And I think I'm probably going to do the same kind of thing over here. So as of now, I have all of the like warped blocks, but I think I'm gonna get rid of those. And then it's gonna have to look a little bit awkward in here, but I think it'll be fine, because I'm not able to make the two pillars on this side at the same level, because this one is like part of the wall here. So I really can't make that dark oak. It would look really funny. So instead we have to make it like this, a little bit diagonal, but it's okay. And then just like before, we're just gonna use spruce to make the roof. Very simple. And then just two archways for the two doorways, and we are chilling. One more exit to go, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing I just did. We are getting very close to finishing this interior. The next thing we have to do is just a bunch of miscellaneous decoration. Like I wanna put a table in here, maybe some chairs chilling, some benches potentially, get some stuff on these shelves. I probably won't fill them all up because there's a lot of shelf space here. I don't really even know what to put here to begin with. Probably put some bushes because those always look good. Just the basic interior decoration that I pretty much always do. I cleared out all my shulker boxes, and I'm starting to load them back up with random materials to decorate with. So let me kind of go through what I gathered. This is about as much as I can think of for now, but if I think of anything later, I can always just come back. So we got a whole bunch of like plant blocks and some other just random stuff in here. Also got some carpets, some moss carpets in case I want to use that. And then just some warped doors and some warped planks. I think I'm actually going to use those as actual doors within the building. Here is just a whole bunch of wood. I'll probably use this all over the place because I usually use spruce wood quite a bit. Got a bunch of random lighting blocks and I guess some paintings and clocks. This isn't super organized, okay? Got a whole bunch of clay balls to make into pots, but I'm just now realizing that I don't have enough coal. But I do have a couple lava buckets. Where are those? I think a lava bucket will smelt 100 items, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just grab 3 furnaces. And then the lava buckets, we can have that smelting while I'm decorating other stuff. Got some other stuff in here, like some composters to also hold some leaves, some armor stands if I want to throw those around, scaffolding to actually use to build with, some item frames if I want to throw in some random items, a couple flower pots that I have, and then some lecterns. And then we just got some stone, because I think I'm gonna have to slab off some more stuff in order to spawn proof it, and I think this black one is empty. Yeah, so I actually do have to go gather one more thing. I want to get some bookshelves. And the easiest way for me to do that right now, I think, is by just heading to the stronghold and just gathering up as much as I can. Alright, so I yoinked every bookshelf in this stronghold, at least in this first library here, and it amounted to 3.5 stacks just about of bookshelves, which is really nice. Back in the Nether hub once again, let's get this clay smelting and we can start working on some other stuff. But I'm gonna start decorating here by giving some... Oh, dude, poor piglin. Poor guy. Just stood no chance. So to begin the decoration here, I'm gonna go around and give this place some more life. So we're gonna throw some lanterns all over the place, and then we'll wrap back around and throw some greenery everywhere. And also, as I'm going through, I think I'm gonna get rid of the deep slate stuff at the bottom here. I think I prefer it a little bit more without the deep slate. I ran around and I threw down pretty much all of the greenery that I'm going to be using in these hallways, and I think it's looking a lot more lively, at least. Not sure how much sense this stuff makes to be here in the Nether. Probably couldn't survive here. But you know what? I don't care. Now I'm gonna run around with some more decoration blocks, like some paintings. That's actually a perfect painting for here. And let's just kind of throw these down and see what we can get. I think some red candles could look really cool around the area. Yeah, that's so nice. I really haven't gotten around to using candles yet, but I really like them. I think I'm done with the decoration here in the hallways. I don't want to go too crazy and over-decorate, but I also tried to not have too many blank spots on the walls. And I think I'm content with where this is at right now. So let's move on to the main room, where we're gonna have to clear out some of this space, so we might actually have to move the Nether portal again. I'm gonna move it for now, and I'll try to find a spot once I put down some more decoration. I'm gonna elevate the middle of the room to another slab level, just so I can actually put chairs and other blocks down to make a table. I'd rather go up than go down a level, you know? Quick note, when I build this table right now in the video, it is not symmetrical, like it's not centered in the middle of the room, but that does eventually get fixed. Just to save anyone from commenting that it's not in the center of the room. All right, we got ourselves a nice big table in here now. Threw down these like spruce pillars on the end. I don't know why, I kind of just think they look cool. I might actually replace all these slabs here with spruce too. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think that'll look nice. And then last but not least, we need some chairs. And I'm gonna use some warped wood for this just to get some different colors. There's also a super secret hidden message somewhere around this table. If you guys can find it, you should definitely do what it says. And we are getting oh so close to finishing. We just have to add the final touches to this room here, so I'm pretty much going to do exactly what I did outside in the hallways, just in this room here. We're going to add some greenery, we're going to add some paintings probably, and I guess something a little bit different. I'm going to put some bookshelves around the area here too. I didn't throw any outside, but I'm going to throw them in here. So I will be right back once I'm finished with all that. And with this, I think we are done with this build. So let me kind of just go over all the things I just added. So we got a nice fireplace back here. We got a whole bunch of bookshelves, got a bunch of greenery. The Nether portal is over in the wall over here. Looks kind of weird because there is a shroom light back there, but honestly, it's fine. I don't think I'm going to notice it all that much. We actually have the Nether portal being like kind of held up here by the chains going into the ceiling. I think it's an interesting looking design. I didn't know what else to do, so kind of just did this. I also wanted to point out that I put stuff in these corner rooms as well. I still need glass. Forgot to get that. I will do that in like 1 second. But in this one, we just have some bookcases. Over here, we have a couple armor stands. I have to go grab some armor. I'll go do that when I get the glass I need. And then these back two over here are pretty much exactly the same, so I'll just show you one. It is just bookshelves, and then we have a little like reading area. So I accidentally destroyed one of the armor stands, but whatever. We have 3 suits of armor now. This one has a backup pair of elytra, because why not? So there's one more thing I would like to do before I finish this episode completely. And that is, I want to build a super smelter in the village we made last time. So let me clear out all of these shulkers and then gather the necessary materials to build one. So I'm going to be watching a tutorial on how to make one of these because I have no idea how to make a super smelter. I've never made one before, and I am very much not technical at all when it comes to Minecraft. So I'm going to be following this tutorial by Mysticat. I will leave the video in the description down below. And since I will just be following a tutorial, I don't think I'm going to time-lapse any of this. If you actually want to see this being built, definitely go watch the video because it'll be far more informative than one of my time lapses will be. So I'll be back when I have this thing up and running. I'm fairly certain I got this thing working. So this thing should be good for everything I'm going to need to smelt. I could have went bigger, but I don't believe I'm ever going to need that much stuff. So now we have a super smelter. The first time I've ever built one of these, this was actually fairly simple. I could probably replicate this again without watching the video. Honestly, it's not that hard, I don't think. There is one final thing I would like to do in this episode before I show off the interior of the Nether hub with shaders on. And it involves the church. We finally have found our God, our Lord and Savior, the most powerful, omnipotent being in all of this world, this server. It is, of course, my man, Bold and Brash. Now look, he might be small, he might not be centered, because I wanted to make him really small in my offhand, but of course it's Bold and Brash. We finally have a deity to bow down to. Yeah, massive shout out to whoever suggested I do this and actually put Bold and Brash in an item frame in the church. I don't remember what episode that comment was left on, so I severely apologize for not being able to remember who did that. But thank you so much for suggesting this. I think this is such a good idea. But anyway, let's pass it off to the guy who's editing this video. It's also me. Right after I get the cinematic of the new build with shaders on. Now, when we started, the Nether hub was completely empty. The only thing that was here was an uncentered Nether portal and a whole bunch of hostile mobs. But after a good amount of work, it ended up looking like this, looking really nice with the shaders on. I love the shaders on the Nether roof with the effects of everything. It's just really nice. Everything's all like blurry, kind of feels like a weird mirage kind of thing. It's really cool. I know my most recent projects haven't been super massive compared to like some of the other stuff I did in this series so far, but I'm trying my best to balance uploading frequently while still having a lot of quality content within the episodes. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode though. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support over the past whole bunch of months. It's kind of been crazy. We are slowly approaching 1,000 days survived in this series. And I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again, but at 1,000 days, I will be providing a world download link. I've been asked that a whole bunch. So if you guys want to take a closer look at any of my builds in this series so far, you can definitely go ahead and download it once we hit 1,000 days, or if I die before 1,000 days, whichever comes first. But anyway, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. Now, this village is really close to Shrammy, which is the name of my hardcore Minecraft base. And I decided to build near this village on purpose because I wanted to transform it into a big city later on in this series. The problem now, though, is the area between Shrammy and this village is completely empty. It's just a basic looking plains biome with nothing there. There is also a pretty massive lack of crop fields in my world. I only have 4. So I figured this is the perfect opportunity to build a farming village in this world with a ton of crop fields. Now, I'm pretty sure this project took exactly 100 Minecraft days to complete. I don't know how I did that. That's just kind of wild. But if you end up enjoying this one, please consider hitting the like button down below. It definitely did take a long while to produce. But more importantly, I just really hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for all the support recently. The channel the other day hit 20,000 subscribers, which is ridiculous. Thank you guys so much one more time. Let's get started with this episode. Man, I was just playing Skyblock for the last few hours, and I gotta be honest, dude, just having a ground, really, really nice. Not having the fear of falling off to my death every few seconds is kind of, is kind of something that I like. I think the best way to start this project right now, though, is to outline some pathways, because then we can more easily figure out where the fields and the houses are going to go. And just for now, I think I'm going to use path blocks, and then I'll, make the path a little bit more interesting down the line. But I think for now, we can probably just extend it through here. And let's connect this all the way up to the village. Now, once we actually build up this city, I will have a gatehouse as the entrance here. But for now, this is probably good enough. The gatehouse will just kind of go in this area somewhere. But now that we have this main path put in, let's branch off a couple to the sides. And we can use these as outlines for the fields that I'm going to build today. Now, of course, it just started raining right when I finished, marking out all these pathways. But we have a ton of space back here to have a bunch of really big fields. Now, these fields aren't going to be exactly as big as, the pathway outline, kind of indicates. Because I do still have to throw some buildings along the pathways just to kind of make this a village. And these are definitely very tentative pathways, because we could keep expanding in this direction, like kind of up this hill, which I kind of really like the idea of. So I might do that at some point in this video once I start throwing down some of these, if I feel like I want more. And we could even expand back this way, kind of to the right over here where I'm looking. So we have a lot of room for expansion. Now that we have the basic layout down, I'm gonna go grab some cobblestone and we can start marking out where some of these houses are going to go. I'm actually gonna use granite for this as well instead of cobblestone because I just had way more granite in my storage room. I don't really have a great plan for this, so let me just run around for a little while and try to figure out what I want to do. It might be a bit difficult to imagine right now considering the houses aren't even kind of built yet. We just have the outlines. But I threw down a whole bunch of house placements. Now these little squares that are along like the main pathway here, I'm gonna use these as like little stands, like little trading huts. And then of course these bigger looking shapes that aren't completely square, they're a little bit more interesting looking, those are all going to be homes. And then these two in the corner, there's like two other square ones, like rectangular ones I guess, like one right there and one over there. Those are going to be windmills. I don't really have too much experience making windmills, but I think it could look kind of nice on like the start of the mountain over there. That's the plan for right now. We could definitely throw in some more houses. Again, we have a bunch of space to expand. I'm kind of liking this spot right here for another house. I feel like that could look kind of nice. I am going to outline one right there. The more I think about it, I think that's a really good spot. But then once I do that, it's time to gather a whole bunch of materials. I apologize if my voice sounds funny, I literally just woke up, but I went back to the storage room then to start compiling all the materials in a big blob of shulker boxes. I grabbed a whole bunch of granite, bricks, packed mud, and dirt in one of the shulker boxes. Then I grabbed pretty much all the stone and the cobblestone I had in my storage room along with a whole bunch of tuff. Can't forget the moss too, gotta make some of these blocks into mossy stone. Grabbed a whole bunch of sand blocks like sandstone and smooth sandstone. I also grabbed a little bit of spruce that I had in my spruce chest and a whole bunch of deep slate materials. At this point though, it was time to go gather some materials that I didn't already have in my storage room, so I started off getting a whole bunch more spruce wood. I say this all the time, but I use spruce in literally every single one of my builds pretty much, so I'm going to need a whole bunch of this stuff. After the spruce, I decided to completely decimate a forest kind of nearby and gather a massive amount of oak wood and birch. And then finally I collected an entire shulker of sandstone, which is awesome to gather. It takes pretty much no time at all. It's an insta-mine. It's beautiful. So let's take all of these materials over to where the village is going to be. I should also say that we have a bunch of sandstone smelting in the super smelter that we made last episode. But let's set up shop over here and we can start building one of these houses. I think I'm going to begin with this one and then work my way around the hillside over here. And then we'll do the houses back here at the end. Without further ado, let's begin building. Holy shit, that scared the hell out of me. Yeah, so I still have a pulse. So that is good. Thank you very much, Bold and Brash. You saved my life. Holy crap. All right, let's continue building this. Yeah, so when I was originally building these houses, I thought I was only going to have two different styles of house. One of the houses would have been like the bricks on the bottom and then the sandstone on the top. The other one would have been the stone blocks and then the wood on the top. But I decided eventually to mix and match these wall colors. You'll kind of see what I mean when, I time-lapse the rest of the builds. So that's why I said here that I built one of each of the houses. There's going to be a couple different kinds of houses here though, not just two. Here's a quick progress update. I have built one of each of the houses that we're going to have in this village. I'm a really big fan of how like the roofs turned out. I think that looks awesome with the moss. And I even got a little bit of grass planted on the moss. Definitely makes it look overgrown, and that's the exact vibe I kind of want to go for. I still need to add some final touches to these guys, like with leaves and flowers and stuff like that, but I'll probably tackle the exteriors just as a whole once I've finished putting up all of the buildings. But now let's continue building these all around this area. We now have 7 new houses in this area, and I'm going to take a break from building things, so we're not going to work on the windmills or like the little trading stands just yet. I want to start working on the actual farmland. And I think the farmland is going to be very basic. We're probably just going to use leaves and fences. Maybe with a bit of like moss and mossy blocks mixed in, but I don't want to make it too complicated, and I think I'm actually going to use birch leaves. Let's use those with a combination of maybe oak fences just to break away from the spruce that we've been using all over the place, because every one of those houses has spruce in it. I'm thinking we just make a butt ton of oak fences, and we have a bunch of extra oak wood to make more. And let me go load up on some moss. I think the easiest way to do this would just be to take some moss and then just bone meal it around the area, rather than having to place down azaleas and flowering azaleas and all that fun stuff. So I'll take a couple stacks of moss and we'll take a little bit of bone meal. Also, can't forget the water buckets. So I'm gonna start with this, and we can outline where all the farms are going to go, which we already sort of did with the path blocks, but they will probably be changed. These were kind of always going to be tentative. It kind of just depended on where I put the houses. Let me sort of go through step by step of one of these farms, and then maybe we can just time lapse the rest. Kind of already seen me do this a whole bunch with my area in a couple different ways, but we're just gonna kind of use this design where we just take some leaves and then switch over to some fences, back to leaves again. It's very repetitive, but it should look good once it's all done. And I want to have these houses kind of attached to the farmland as well. I think that'll look pretty nice. It's kind of like each of these houses owns one of the plots, maybe. You can kind of think of it that way. But I threw down leaves in a few random spots. Let's throw down some fences now. And then we'll go back through again and put some moss in and bone meal it. And I think this is going to essentially be the final product for the outlines of the farms. I think the only other thing I would add to this would be some lanterns. But your boy's kind of poor with coal right now. I've almost survived 1,000 days in this world, and I don't have any coal anymore. I haven't mined coal in forever, so that's probably how that happened. But for now, I'm gonna go around and put these big fields all over the landscape here. So let's go ahead and place a whole bunch of fences and a whole bunch of leaves. It's a little difficult to see from up here, but the borders for the farms are now in. And I also fixed up the pathway in some places. I'm sure I didn't get everywhere. But the pathway now kind of goes around everything and goes between a couple of the farms. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. And I may even add more farmland in the future. But for now, this is going to be a lot. I also went ahead and got rid of the moss that was bordering the farms as well. I just kind of think I like it with just the fences and the leaves, and it seems I've missed a couple pieces of moss. I probably missed a whole bunch of this because it kind of blends in some cases, but I should be able to find it once I'm planting down the farmland. Speaking of farmland, we need to go get a whole bunch of crops. And I think the best way for me to do that actually is just to harvest my farms that already exist. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we will get started planting these fields. And I'm definitely gonna do that in a time lapse because planting fields in a time lapse is very satisfying to watch. The farmland is looking mighty fine, in my opinion. I'm really excited to see what this is going to look like when everything is completely grown in. Got a small sneak peek down here, because the carrot field here, the potato field, and the wheat field is pretty much all grown in. But it's definitely starting to take shape, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to record in replay mod for this potato field here, so I don't really think I have a time lapse for that. So that's definitely on me. Right now, though, I want to work on one of the windmills, and I'm going to put it right here, right in the middle of this potato field. I think it's going to look really nice. Got to begin, though, by emptying out these shulker boxes here and refilling them with materials that I'm going to need to build this thing. I'm thinking for these windmills here, we're going to have, like, the base, the first kind of few floors out of oak wood. So we're going to have the stripped oak wood and oak plank design, and then we're going to transition into sandstone. I may end up throwing a little bit of birch in there, too. That could probably look nice, so I think I'm going to do that. We'll go from the oak to the birchwood to the sandstone. I'm gonna start here by trying to build up a tower, and in my opinion, trying to make towers look good is quite difficult in Minecraft. And actually, I want to get rid of all these blocks because I want to start on the bottom with barrels. And then once again, of course, it starts raining. It's just right when I talk, I swear. I don't know what kind of curse I have, man. Let's bring these pillars up, I don't know, like 7 blocks? We'll see how tall that looks. I think I'm also gonna throw barrels at the top. I feel like that could look nice. I think that's a pretty decent size here for like the first floor. We can probably then push this in a little bit for the rest of the build. It's actually a thunderstorm, so I can go to bed. Let's go. Let's get rid of the rain. Now let's throw a stair on top of the barrels. Let's put a slab, and then we can place a trapdoor here. Then another slab, and then another stair. And that can kind of be like the dividing piece from the first floor to the second floor. And then why not? Let's begin with the barrels again. And I guess we can build these up probably at least as many as like the first section, so let's go up at least 7. And then at this point, I think we start thinking about the roof. So I'm gonna try to make a little trim here on the outside with some spruce. Let's do a trapdoor, and then let's do a slab, and then another trapdoor. Did not mean to fire off a rocket, that's for sure. Let's just alternate between trapdoor and slab here. Let's go ahead and grab our deep slate then. Let's put a little bit of deep slate on each of these barrels, and then we're gonna work our way up into the middle. And I would also like to have like a strip of spruce wood also going up into the middle. I think it'll look really cool. All right, I'm really not good at making roofs like this, but let's see what this looks like from down here. I actually quite like that. I feel like that's not too tall. It's definitely not too small either. I do think it's missing one thing though, or I guess 4 things. Hold on. Yeah, I think I like this a little bit more. I put 4 walls around like the third to top layer all the way up there, and then put lanterns on the top. I do think there's one other minor change I want to make with this build. I think the second portion of it is a little bit too tall. So we're going to try to fix that here by bumping up the first portion by 1 block. I gotta say, if you're trying to build a tower, definitely do it in creative mode first. Towers are, at least for me, one of the most awkward things to build. It's really hard, in my opinion, to get the size correct. Because you don't want a tower that's way too tall or too small, or like a section of the tower that's like way too big. It's difficult to get right, that's for sure. Yeah, I think this looks a little bit better now. Let's start throwing on the walls, and then we can worry about the blades, because those are going to be tough as well. And like I said before, we're going to start with the oak wood. Of course, this will be all stripped down. Then we're going to transition into the oak planks here. And then after the oak planks, we will transition into some birch. Then after the birch, of course, we're going to get some sand, some smooth sandstone, and some regular sandstone. I'm definitely digging the colors here. That's a good little gradient we got going on. The build's definitely looking a little bit funky to me right now, but I think it's because the walls are so just plain. So what I want to do to fix that is I want to decorate these walls a little bit more. We're going to throw in some spruce. We're going to have some trapdoors, maybe some signs as well. Those could always look nice, just sprinkled around the area. And we're gonna give these walls a little bit more character and some more depth. And I think we're just gonna do something like this all the way around. Gonna section off the different layers here, and we're gonna throw in the very classic and iconic, at least for me right now, spruce archway with the stairs and the trapdoors. So let's copy this design all the way around. The sides of the tower are pretty much complete. We kind of just have to throw windows in the little gaps, you know, along the walls. But now I want to work on the actual blades of the windmill, and I want to see if I can get those right. This just looks like a massive like jungle gym here with all the scaffolding I have to place down for this. But I actually had to go reference one of my older worlds. I couldn't do this just completely freehand because I've built a windmill before. Wow, how did I not destroy a potato there? That was crazy. But yeah, I actually had to reference one of my old worlds because I am lost. I don't know how to build this thing to make it look good, so I'm just gonna kind of copy that design here. Now, it might be a little bit difficult to see with all of the scaffolding everywhere, but I like what this design looks like. I do want to do something a little bit different though. I want to hang some white banners down. I think that could look really nice because the banners like flow in the wind and stuff, and I think it just adds a good effect to a windmill. And there we have the final product of the blade. But the final thing I want to do here is just throw in some windows. And I think I need glass for that. And I think now that all of the windows are on, this building is complete. And now that we have like the blueprint down, let's put another one probably over here. I kind of like this little hilltop. The second windmill has now been built, and it's a little awkward, honestly, because the banners don't render in when I'm like even just a little bit far away from these buildings. Like, watch, when I turn around, it looks like there's no banners, but they are definitely there. And I really like both of these windmills. I think it adds quite a bit to like the skyline, I guess you could say. It's pretty nice. This path, though, needs a ton of work done to it, so that is up next on the agenda. And I think to begin, I'm just going to put a whole bunch of coarse dirt everywhere. The problem is we only have 42, so I do have to gather some more gravel. Do I have any left over? I have a little bit of extra gravel, but not much. Alright, let me go fill a shulker box with gravel. I got close enough to a shulker box here. This like gravel biome that was here is kind of completely gone now. I've been coming here for a while to get gravel, and the only bits left really are like sloped down like that, and I don't really feel like dealing with it. So I'm just gonna say that's enough, and I really hope it is. We now have a full shulker of coarse dirt. That should be plenty. It'll be a rather large path, but I don't expect it to be larger than an entire shulker box worth of materials. So let's grab all this dirt, and let's go start excavating a pathway. So I'm just gonna start digging, and we're gonna be replacing the blocks as we go. All of the coarse dirt is placed, and now we have a much more defined pathway through this entire area. Now the pathway kind of just completely ends right over here, and I really don't know where to lead this area to, but maybe we can expand like in this direction eventually, and this pathway can just continue, you know, kind of this way. But for now, it's just going to kind of go to the back of this house. And I also wanted to mention that I don't really know when the city pathway is going to begin. That's why I kind of just abruptly ended the coarse dirt right here. I'm imagining that the city pathway will either be out of like bricks or like stone or like deep slate or something like that. I think we can fade those in together pretty well. So just for now, it's just going to end right here. I'm going to go ahead though and grab a few different kinds of blocks so that we can texture the pathway a little bit better. I'm going to start with this small patch right here, and then we can kind of extrapolate the design I come up with all the way around. So let's mess around a little bit and see what we can come up with. I grabbed a bunch of random blocks. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these different types, but I feel like most of them could look pretty good in this kind of pathway we have going on. I know for sure I'm going to use some mud because I really like what mud and coarse dirt looks like together. The colors are super close to one another, and they blend in beautifully, in my opinion at least. Grab some spruce logs. I don't know if I actually want to throw these around, but stripping the spruce looks decent too. I don't think I'm going to do it though. I feel like it's just too different of a color. Now I definitely want some stones everywhere, either bordering the path or just in the path itself. I think that could look pretty nice, because if we have these stone bricks, I want to try to get this design going, where then like next to a stone brick, you can have a muddy stone brick, which I think looks awesome together. So I'll try to be doing that all the way around, and this is also how we're going to get up to the different levels. We're going to be using stone brick slabs, some stone slabs. It'll be great. And I also wanted to throw a couple stones around, like some bigger stones like this. Not too many of them, though. I don't want to go overkill here, but just a couple in a few different spots I think will be a nice touch. Just a combination here of andesite and smooth stone. I think we'll do just fine. This will also be a decent spot to throw some lanterns then, which also reminds me, I want to have a very, very soft like fence border. So just every so often, I want to throw a couple pieces of oak fence, and we can throw some lanterns on top of those as well. But nothing too structured. I want it to be very open here. And this is kind of the main path design I had in mind. So let's just replicate this path design all the way around the area, and this is going to be super tedious. So I'm just going to cut away until I'm done. So I'm fairly certain the pathway is complete. We are definitely on the home stretch of this build. I want to now add in some like market stands across like the main section of the path. But for like the 1000th time in this video, let me clear out my inventory and my shulker boxes and stuff, and then let me grab some more materials. We have a bunch of stuff in here now. I have some spruce wood stuff, we have some granite stuff, and a few different colors of wool. Let's see if I can just freestyle one of these. I guess we'll throw one here. We're gonna start out like this on the bottom. We're gonna have granite and brick on the corners. And in the middle, we're gonna have some fence gates, and we're also gonna have some fences. And now we kind of just have to build up from here. And I think we probably use fences to do this. Spruce fences, that is. And then let's maybe top it off with granite and brick walls. And I feel like we probably just do a really similar design. Maybe this time we just do fence gates all the way across instead of including the fence. We're definitely getting somewhere with this, but I do think I want to bring it down a block. Now let's figure out what we're gonna throw on the roof. This is where the wool comes into play. I really want to just alternate the wool colors, but I don't know how to make it look good. Obviously this looks like garbage. I really don't know how to make this look okay. I do have an idea though. Hang on, let me try something. I threw a trim around the outside with some trapdoors and some spruce slabs. I really like what that looks like. I might now have to change the blocks on the inside. I went ahead and grabbed some quartz slabs, and then now we just need blocks for the middle. So I need another slab block. What if we use some dark prismarine? That could be kind of cool. I think this looks all right, actually. That is a very simple little trading stand. Let's go ahead then and build about 3 more of these. I do want to use a different block on the top aside from the dark prismarine. So we're going to need 3 more like colorful slabs to pair with the white quartz slabs. I think we can find that. But I guess let me get the frames down for all of these. I looked in my storage room for a good while to try to figure out which other blocks I want to have for the roofs of these things, and I came up with deep slate tiles, crimson wood, and prismarine. Let's go ahead and throw these on, and let's see how they look. Yeah, these are pretty much the exact vibe I wanted to capture when I was thinking about these little trading stands. I still want to add a couple more things to this village, but before I do that, my elytra are pretty much going to die soon, and also I have 7 fireworks left. So I think it's about time we go to the mob farm and get some more gunpowder. Now after I restocked on my rocket supply, I went around and added a bunch of small details to this village. I added a couple carts. I think I built 3 in total, just to kind of haul some hay and have some more spots for lanterns and make it look like this village is actually kind of lived in and useful. Then I kind of just threw hay all around the area too, and this recording looks kind of weird. I used like the first person perspective on Replay Mod, and it kind of looks awkward. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just pretty weird. After that, I decided to add some more detail to the trading posts by putting like a little interior kind of like storage area to each of them. We built up a couple custom trees, not too many, but I wanted to add a few around this village. And then finally, of course, it had to happen, I put leaves on the roofs of all of the houses just to give them a little bit more life. Now with those finer details done, let's take a look at the build in its entirety. When I began this episode, it was day 875, and the area between Shrammy Land and the eventual city build I'm gonna do looked like this. It was completely empty, nothing there at all, but then fast forward 100 Minecraft days to day 975, and it now looks like this. This is definitely one of my favorite village builds that I've done so far. I really like the house designs, and I think the colors blend really well together. And I also wanted to make the crop fields like the main focal point of this village, so I didn't want to put too many houses. And I think I accomplished that at least pretty well. Of course, though, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this build. I would love to hear your feedback. Now, since there's only 25 days left until I hit day 1000, I won't be able to have like a full-length episode out, so I think what I'm gonna do is just do a couple random things around the world, maybe gather some materials, like do some interiors potentially of these buildings, just kind of prepare the world for the eventual world download at day 1000. So the next episode in this world will probably be the 1000 day movie, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. But thank you so much for watching this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.